We know what's going on at the macro level. Mit said, I said it. But still, there are people who are killing it in their individual spaces. There are companies who are thriving in their individual spaces. So, what can we learn from this? What we can learn from this is like macro environment will can be volatile, can be hostile, and cannot be 100% favorable for you. But when we look at even in the economy like this, even when we go through recession, even when we go through contraction of the economy, there are companies out there, there are individuals out there, there are businesses out there who are absolutely killing it in their space, and they are growing, right? Now, let's take the word growth for a second, right? Okay. I think we mistake growth significantly, and there is a problem here. Why do we mistake growth significantly? Okay, what we do is we think that growth happens in one day. We assume that growth happens within 1 week. If I start doing something today, like I will see my results tomorrow. And I will ask you this question that six pack, do you get it right away, or how long do you have to go to the gym to earn that six pack, right? You talk to any successful business owner and you ask them, how long did it took you to get where you are today? And they will be like, well, it took me a while. It took a lot of hard work. So just to start here, that growth itself is not a phenomena which happens in 24 hours, 48 hours. It doesn't work like that. Growth, if you want consistent growth, you need to show up every day. That's the bottom line. Recession, no recession, economy is good, economy is bad, you have to show up every day and you have to put in your work. Because slowly by slowly, it's like interest, right? It stacks up, it stacks up, it stacks up, and you get to the point now you're seeing a considerable growth. Okay. And what I'm saying, what I'm sharing this with you today, you all can resonate with it. So tell me that how many of you guys have seen this picture of Jeff Bezos in the chat section? By the show of hands, right? I'm sure a lot of you have seen this picture of Jeff Bezos. Now, I don't know exact year that when this picture is coming from, but this picture is, I think it's 1998, if I'm not mistaken. It's in 1990s, right? And this shows that consistent effort, right, gives you massive outputs. Small micro inputs give you macro outputs, and that's what sales is. You cannot just get the end result. You cannot just get all the desired results in one day. It doesn't, right? It's always right, make sure that you're putting in consistent effort, because if you don't put in consistent effort, right, most of us, what we do is we, first of all, we are not consistent. Secondly, whatever we start working on, we give up too quickly. Within a week, within 2 weeks, within 2 months, we are like, you know what, this is not working. I met someone who was running Facebook ads. They just spent like $200 on Facebook ads. They're like, it's not working. It's not producing results for me. And this is the number one reason, that lack of consistency and not basically doing that thing, that prospecting, right? Prospecting should be part of your daily activity as a business owner, hands down. Doesn't matter what business you're in, you should be prospecting all the time. Okay. Now, how many of you, I'm sure a lot of you probably be like, have bamboos at your home, uh, or have seen bamboos around, right? And do you know that it takes bamboo tree years to give basically the labor of love? If you want to grow a bamboo tree and you want basically bamboo sticks, you know that you have to water for 3 years, just water. It doesn't do anything for the first few years. And guess what happens then? all of a sudden you start seeing immense growth. So sales is like that. Sales just doesn't happen that tomorrow you start like cold calling and you will get two deals. It doesn't work like that, right? The way it works is like you first of all you have a solid plan and a strategy that how you will basically tackle it. Then you start doing it every single day. And if you do it, this is the classic example that first year it's not showing up, super small, right? Well, have to use a better one. So this is like super small, and you can clearly see the growth here, right? Amazing growth. And the why this growth is coming, because there is consistency year over year. There is consistency, right? Like most of the people, right, they will try it here and they will give up, right, in the first few months, first few basically like days or first year. They are like, you know what, this thing is not working for me. So let me be very clear. When you talk about growth, right, you guys have to make sure that you see growth in a long strategic manner, right? And we talked about Amazon, right? We talked about going to the gym. We talked about any successful business owner. Doesn't matter whoever is successful, nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens in the next 24, 48 hours. You have to put in consistent work, okay? Now, let's assume that you're putting in consistent work, right? Like, okay, where a lot of the business owners basically make a mistake when it comes to selling, right? See, sales is not just about one call or one text message or one email. Sales, mark my words, and this is probably one of the most important words I will say to you today. Sales is the game of nurturing. Sales is the game of nurturing. What do I mean by that? I give you two examples of a real estate companies. Each one of those companies, they both got 100 leads. One company is basically like, one brokerage is actually consistently nurturing the clients. They're sending them emails, they're sending them text messages, they're sending them new properties whenever it's listed in the market. And the other real estate brokerage is not doing anything at all. Out of 100 leads they both got, guess what? The brokerage which was doing consistent nurturing got 40% closing rate. The brokerage which was not doing consistent nurturing, they just called the customer once and that was it. They just converted 8% of the leads. You see 40% versus 8%. And the reason in that big gap is what? Is basically like, having a consistent follow-up process, right? So the first day, right? Let's say you did an intro email and a first phone call, along with you connected with them on the LinkedIn and the email. Then you went to the day fifth and you send them a follow-up email and the second phone call, okay? And then you also send them a mail letter. Day ninth, you did a third follow-up with them. And there was a similar content and there was an offer, right? Okay, and there was a nurture email too. Then day 13th, you did another follow-up, and day 17th, you did another follow-up. So selling, always, if you want to be successful at selling, you need a proper nurturing process. You need a proper, like, drip process to keep at the top of their mind. Because you know what? The first day you call them, they are busy. They have other things going on, right? Like, they are like, you know what? Call me back, right? Most of us will not call them back. Most of us, maybe we do another follow-up. But once you do consistent follow-ups, once you basically have a process, and now see, amazing thing is what? You can create all of this. You can create all of this strategy just for once. You don't need to keep rinse and repeating it. Like you can literally create it for once, and every customer who comes in your business, they go through a proper follow-up sequence. And this is very, very important for you. anyone who is in the call today, who's basically watching us on YouTube or later on in the recorded video, if you don't have a consistent follow-up, believe me that you are leaving money on the table. So by show of hands or in the chat section, tell me how many of you follow up at least 3 to 5 times with the customer. How many of you are doing it consistently? Okay. And how many of you just do 1 or 2 follow-ups? And I know that, like, Greg, thank you for mentioning that. I know majority of us, we don't do consistent follow-ups. Someone contacted us for a bookkeeping service. We contacted them twice. That's about it. Thank you so much, sir. Like, that's it. Well, do you know that it's so easy to convert a customer who have contacted you once rather than basically like, doing it in a way that like, you have to make sure and very good point, like, what Danielle made. Thank you for the comment, Starcy, Greg, that it's hard to do as a business owner, right? Like, we get caught up. And that's where every business owner, doesn't matter you sell something for $10, you sell something for $500 or $5,000, have a basic CRM in your business. Because all of this, you can automate. That automatically, if Ali doesn't reply by day 9, send them a second nurture email. If Ali doesn't reply by day 13, send them another email. If Ali doesn't reply by day 17, send them another message, right? So you can automate all of these things, right? So you as a business owner are not doing it manually. And this is what selling is in 2020, 2021, because see, old days what Mitch was saying, that it was a lot of these processes were human driven, right? You need to manually go in, check the lead, and then create these drip messages. Now, your CRM and most of the CRM, doesn't matter which product you use, most of the CRM can do this for you, that they can do a consistent follow-up with you, with your prospects, okay? So what is the second biggest mistake business owners make when it comes to selling? Any guesses? Right. Number one, we talked about lack of consistency, right? Lack of consistency in prospecting, lack of consistency in the follow-ups, right? The second thing business owners basically like, tend to basically like, make a mistake on majorly is that they think that the cold prospect and the customer and the prospect, they're all same. So when they talk to people in the marketplace, guess what happens? They are talking to all of them at one place. Someone who is ready to buy, they're talking to them with the same messaging. Someone who is cold and doesn't know you, you're talking with the same messaging. So first of all, you have to be very clear that with this, that 98%, see, I didn't become a doctor. You can see my writing is not the best. 98% of the, your prospects will always be cold. So you need to make sure that first you build a relationship, so you turn the cold into unaware and then into a lead. Don't just throw one message to everyone. This is like talking to people who let's say your friends. Do you talk to them in the same way you talk to strangers? You don't. To strangers, you always start a conversation differently. To your friends, you always know them, so you start the conversation differently. This is similar. When prospects are cold, they are unaware, you talk to them differently. And here, one of the best ways to convert unaware and the cold traffic into basically your lead and a prospect, one of the best strategies to do that is educate them. The more you educate your cold prospects, the more you can push them down the funnel, basically. So stop treating everyone in your funnel as the same customer, right? And Lynn, amazing point, right? Because Sometimes what we do that when we meet someone and they are not, they are cold, they didn't reply back to us, we leave them. We don't think that, like, if we do consistent follow-ups, and I gave you an example of a real estate brokerage who did a consistent follow-up, your closing ratio triples. 200, 300, 400% increase in your closing ratio because you're doing a consistent follow-up, right? And also when you do basically like focus on like your new customers and your new leads, right? Always focus on, especially to this 98% who are cold, always focus on adding educational value to them, because this is one of the best ways to earn their trust. So they basically contact you either through an email, through a phone call, through a Facebook message, through a booking an appointment, through downloading something. So they convert this cold traffic into basically a lead, someone who is interested in you, someone who is excited to hear from you. Okay. So I have like, a couple of amazing presentations like, lined up for you guys that like, which we'll be going over later today. We have, as Mitch mentioned, we have like, two amazing speakers beside myself and Mitch also lined up for today. We're going to talk about, and see guys, today's whole event, right, is all about how to help you increase your revenue, because that's the bottom line, right? Okay. And what I've also done that after this event, basically, right, like, all of us who are attending, right, you guys will get a couple of free resources from me. So I'm just going to quickly share it with you. So one will be basically it's called mass persuasion secrets. Okay. And it's all about like, when you talk to your prospects, how to talk to them. How can you basically convert them into your like, paying clients? But before that, how can you make sure that they trust you? So this is, I will share this with you, is basically like, full like, ebook we have put together. And secondly, what we have put together is email monetizer. What is email monetizer is basically like, it's a report which helps you. How can you basically see, a lot of you already have an existing customer list you're sitting on, 100 people, 50 people, 500 people, whatever it is your existing customer list is. This one will help you understand how can you maximize and get your existing customers to buy from you, to refer you, or to basically get like, do business with you again. Okay, so these two resources I'll be sharing it with you. I know that Mitch has extra resources, our speakers have extra resources, so hang in there. And again, thank you so much for joining today. I'm looking forward to basically like, learning with you and like, sharing ideas, strategy, tools, and techniques when it comes to selling during recession, when it comes to selling during downturn, economic downturn. Okay. Mitch.
You got it, Ali. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of information already to get you to the spot where you're going, okay, I give up. I'm just going to go sell. Okay. Who here would be willing to pick up this thing right now? And it doesn't have to have an apple on the back. That's okay. But who here would be willing to pick this thing up right now and call somebody you didn't know and talk about your business? Nobody? Somebody? Anybody? Lynn will? Absolutely, right? It is by far one of the most terrifying things. And there's a specific reason. And we're going to go right into the stuff you need to be doing very shortly, which may very well include picking this thing up and starting to make phone calls with complete strangers. But what we fear most is the biggest part of the job for a salesperson. In other words, you, if it's just you and your business, you are your business's only salesperson. You are your business's only marketing team. You are exactly. Tarsi, thank you very much. Rejection. Being told no. No is terrifying. No is awful because it means that if you tell me no when I call you, I'm not going to get money. And if I don't get money, I can't have food. And if I can't have food, I'm very likely not going to be able to afford clothing or a roof over my head, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all those things are to compound, and I'm going to starve to death. And my genetic line will be wiped out of the species. Gone. All because I picked this up and called you and I thought you'd say no. That's what goes through our head on a regular basis when we look at what happens thanks to sales when we're going to reach out and talk to a complete stranger. Now, make no mistake, this device has replaced almost everything else. I mean, I'm talking to you right now on my laptop, right? And up over here and up over here are a couple of monitors, and there's some other stuff scattered around. And I've got a nice big desk, and I got lots of things, and I got lights going on, and I got all this other stuff happening right now. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But all of that went into this thing. And the moment it went into this, it changed everything for our lives. Now, we didn't know we needed this thing until something really important happened. We were told about it. And we were sold on the idea and the concept for a moment. Now, we've had phones for a very long time. You're going, Mitch, phones were not new. No, they weren't. But being able to take this thing to be able to put it in my pocket and to have it ring there is unique. In fact, if you really look at that, it's only been within the last 20 years. Anybody on this call right now lived in a time before you could put this in your pocket. So the moment we could take the phone off the wall with the cord and put it in our pocket, that's novel and new, but we had to be told about it. The moment we could take the phone off the wall and without a cord and put it in our pocket, and then we could start to include things like email. That is new, and we had to be told about it. The moment you could do this with this, that was new, and you had to be told about it. Now, we do not adapt very well for change. So I'm going to talk about psychology for a moment here as it regards to sales, because we are always at war with two essential elements. One, we are always afraid of being told no ourselves. Empirically, unequivocally, we are always terrified that we are going to be told no and we're not going to get what we want, which is to be able to sell something and therefore eat and keep a roof over our head. But two, we're always at a war with change. Every time we need to talk to somebody about a service, a product, a commodity, or an offering, it's really only the things that either I sell you a thing, I sell you a service, I sell you an idea, or I sell you something that you need on a regular basis, food, etc. Every time I need to do that, but what I'm looking to sell you is different than what you are used to, I am at war with change in your head. So for me as a salesperson, I need to be able to paint a picture and justify that not only is my product, now remember our three schools of sales, traditional sales, feature, advantage, benefit, that my product has the stuff inside of it that's at least as good or hopefully better than what you already have. Next, I need to convince you that it's either going to keep solving the problem you've got right now, but maybe just a little better, or it's going to solve a problem you didn't realize that you had. And third, the relational selling side, that you trust me enough to be able to buy the moment I took the phone and moved it off the wall and put it into my pocket. The moment I can put this into my pocket and do all of this required somebody to first tell me that we could take the phone off the wall, put it in the pocket, that it had at least the same stuff as the previous phone before, that it continued to solve the problem for you to be able to reach out to your family and friends, to talk inside your business, to sell your own product, services, and commodities, or to follow up with those people that you needed that were essential for your business and livelihood to continue. And third, I had to trust you, or we all collectively had to trust those people enough to say, I'm willing to give it an idea. These are the stakes that we have in sales on a regular basis. So it pays to pay attention. When I'm talking about these three different schools, this is your very first lesson for the day. So here, let's go back to traditional sales school for a moment. One, whatever you sell right now, you need to write down what are your features, advantages, and benefits. What's the sticker on the window of the car that represents your business? And what stuff do you provide? What's the things they get? I, for my business, had to think about it long and hard, and it equates to things like this page, for example. It's one piece of paper and you don't get a really good view. It's not the only piece of paper I have, but it's part of the feature advantage benefit of one of the businesses I own. Because what it means is that if you can have a good look at it, you can understand what I'm innately or intuitively trying to explain to you, then you have an idea what you're going to get when you pay me. I can hand you the piece of paper and it explains everything. So for your business right now, what are your features, advantage, benefits? What are the products that you have? What are the services you provide? What are the offerings? What are some of the advantages that they paint a picture? For us to sell effectively, we have to understand our features, advantages, benefits. So if you've never thought about it, and understand, financial planners or financial advisors, here's all the products I have, but that's only one thing, it's your product, okay? Have you explained it to somebody? Do you know how to explain it to somebody? Do you know where it fits? Do you know what the advantage is that it provides, etc.? So the very first thing you need to do is write down the features, advantages, benefits that your business provides. Mitch, I've already got that already. Okay, wonderful. When was the last time you looked at it? When was the last time you honestly reviewed what your business offers to the marketplace, offers to the outside world, gives other people? When was the last time it changed? Now, when I work with business owners on a weekly and daily and monthly and yearly basis, business is ever evolving. It's ever changing. In other words, there's always things that are moving, always things that are transitioning. What I sell today, let's, as an example, features, advantage, benefits. What I sell today, if I own a retail store, is very, very different than what I sell in the spring. But if my feature, advantage, benefit, if my list of all the stuff I sell hasn't changed from spring to fall, I failed. Because if I run just a retail store, and whether I sell coats or boots or hats or not, I don't at least sell glove warmers when fall and winter start to come, I'm failing to provide enough products to match what the marketplace is asking for right now. So what's the stuff I've got? Have I ever looked at my list, and has it changed at all in the last little while? When you're in a retail environment, Christmas, as we know, is one of the most important times of the year. In fact, for most retailers, upwards of 80% of an entire year's worth of sales happens between 6 and 12 weeks maximum. So imagine hanging your hat for 52 weeks out of a year on just 6 weeks. The stuff you may sell coming up to Christmas. Now, if you've ever been in a big box retailer, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've got a few just around the corner from my house. But one of them is one of the largest on the planet. And yet they never fail to always print a flyer, tell you what specials are coming up and what stuff they've got. And where we're sitting right now in the middle of October, we got well, 3 major events in Canada over the next 2 months, but 2 that most people really hang their hat on. One next week is Halloween. Who doesn't like to dress up and get candy handed to them, or in this case, thrown at you, because we have to maintain 6 feet of social distance, right? Or regardless of religious proclivity, Christmas, which is either a great pause and a great vacation, or a time for family and celebration. So that giant retailer, and in fact, there's 2 different big box stores, just 3 blocks from my house. You see lots of Christmas and Halloween stuff up right now. And you see lots of advertising for Christmas, Halloween stuff right now. And when you walk into the store, the staff are asking you if you know where the Christmas and Halloween stuff is. And when you walk in the door, the Christmas and Halloween stuff is right there. Never mind scattered all over the place. So when they choose to advertise feature, advantage, benefit, the stuff they've got, they don't fail at Christmas or Halloween to tell you they have Christmas and Halloween stuff. But you don't talk about the fact that you have Christmas and Halloween stuff in April. In April, you talk about running shoes and inflatables and inflatable pool toys for kids, and you talk about gardening tools, etc. These are the things that in April, your business changes for its products and services and commodities, its feature, advantage, benefit. So what is your feature, advantage, benefit? What was the last time you had a good look at it? And can you articulate, explain, or tell a complete stranger in a way that when they decide to take the cord off the phone off the wall and put it in their pocket, it's going to be at least the same or better than what they had before? Does that make sense? You have to be able to take your Christmas stuff and pack it away after Christmas, and you got to take your spring stuff and bring it on the floor at springtime. I can see one of my clients and close friends on our actual Zoom call right now, and she runs an accounting and bookkeeping firm. Now, we just had, thanks to COVID, one of the longest tax seasons ever, right? But you don't talk about doing personal taxes in August or September, October, because personal tax season runs right up into February and ends about April or May. But it got a big extension this year. So we've heard about nothing but personal tax season right now. What do you hear about from a feature advantage benefit? And I'm not just giving her business a plug, but I'm using it as an example. In the fall and coming in towards Christmas season, where retailers are talking about Christmas stuff on the shelves, accounting and bookkeeping firms are talking about year-end taxes, T1 prep for your employees, GST quarters coming in. Now in Canada, we have the goods and service tax, GST, which is 5% on everything you buy nationwide. That has to be reported and paid up on a quarterly basis. We're in the middle of October, which means the next quarter's up. So accountants and bookkeepers are like, hey, your GST is going to be due. We better get it wired so that you don't get drilled by the government for being behind on your taxes. But that company or an accounting and bookkeeping firm doesn't need to promote that it does GST returns for businesses 12 months out of the year. It needs to talk about it 4 months out of the year. That's what it needs to do. So it's desperately important for an accounting and bookkeeping firm, when it looks at its feature advantage benefit, its traditional sales, to understand when what it offers can be available to the marketplace. Because then for an accountant or a bookkeeper to say, yeah, we do GST returns, cool, that can be part of the conversation. But by the way, it's a very different conversation if I ask anybody on this call right now or anybody live with us, if you have a Canadian business right now, are you prepared to file your GST return? When was the last time you filed your GST return? Do you know how to file your GST return? Because that's desperately important for an accounting or bookkeeping firm to promote the fact that right now you have to be getting that stuff together, because you have to file it right away. Otherwise, there's penalties. And the government doesn't mess around when it's looking for its money, right? We can agree, regardless of where you are in the world, it's much easier for the government to ask you for money than it is to give you money. And you definitely don't want to owe the government money at all. So accounting and bookkeeping firms need to be talking to you about their products and services, their features, advantages, benefits. And 4 times a year, they have to talk about GST. For retailers, we need to talk about Halloween coming up to Halloween and Christmas coming up to Christmas. And in the spring, we need to talk about pool noodles and floaties and barbecue accessories and garden stuff. Well, Mitch, it's all crap. It's all chattel. Well, the retail stores, they sell you all the stuff. They sell you the monitors that sit on the desk, and they sell you the laptop, and they sell you the pen that you write with, and they sell you the coffee cup. By the way, I do love you, all of you, whoever's joined us right now. I do love all of you. They sell us all that stuff. So their features advantage benefits is constantly evolving. What are your feature advantage benefit? What are your products? What are the advantages they provide, and how are they better than their competitors? You have to know what that is if you're going to be able to sell effectively. And you have to be able to do it in as few words as possible. Next, consultatively, because remember I said there's 3 schools of thought and some fit for different businesses. But every time you are asked to sell or forced to sell or decide that today is a good day to sell, what problems does what you offer fix? What problem does it take away? What challenge does it overcome? When I talk to an individual business owner about their business, what stuff am I going to take off their plate? What am I going to give them relief over? As a business coach, there's always a handful of symptoms at the front end. But when we look at solving problems, if I use just my business as an example, people are always notoriously short on cash. Most business owners have very little liquid cash to work with. Most business owners have a pretty poor financial structure in their business. Most business owners have sales cycles or sales processes that are feast or famine, called feast or famine, meaning that they're working really well very quickly, and business starts to inflate and expands rapidly. And then they get so busy, even though, Yulia, yeah, I'll answer your question in just 1 second here. Even though, or if you'd like, please go ahead and drop it right into the chat, and either myself or Ali will be able to drop some information for you in a moment. So for us, when we sit there and I'm talking to these people, the problems they've got is cash flow, financial structure, feast and famine sales, meaning the business starts to inflate and grow, and then you're so busy maintaining what you've got right now that you stop selling, and inevitably your business starts to drop off. Businesses are frustrated with their marketing. In other words, how they get their business to talk for them when they're not in the room. They have problems with hiring, with keeping good staff. They have problems managing their time. They don't even have a plan for their business. They just know they wanted to start a business. They didn't want to work for anybody else. And now it's days or months or years later, okay? And in return, they find that they own a job. You're still the boss, but you own your own job, and you're not actually really sure where your business is going. So each one of those is a challenge. It's a problem to overcome. And when my products or services, the stuff I do for businesses, how is that going to take that pain away? What challenges that they're going to have? And out of those problems, what gets fixed? How does it get fixed? And in what way does it get fixed so it makes them feel better? It makes them feel valuable. It makes them feel like by taking it away, they've got more because of it. And then we transition to that third school of thought, because for most business owners and the bulk of businesses, and here is another stat for you for a moment, a significant number of businesses classify as small to medium business. If I take the Alberta marketplace as an example, in Alberta, I live just outside of Edmonton in Alberta. We have 220 odd thousand businesses legally and fully registered in the province of Alberta. That's all of them overall. 87,000 of those businesses classify as small to medium. And the average business size in Alberta is between 3 to 7 employees, including the business owner. Average. So 87,000 out of 225, 224, 227,000, depends on the day, and we're in the middle of a recession, so chances are that number's smaller right now, classify as small to medium businesses, but the average business only has 3 to 7 employees. So every one of those business owners, when they sell, it's going to be really personal, which means it's well invested for them to build relationships with people too. So when we look at being able to articulate this as a business, we start with the very first school of thought, because we always have to know what our products are. What's the stuff that we sell, and what are the features? What are the things, or what's the stats? What's the page on the side of the truck? What does it say about my business that somebody gets? If I give you $1 and you hand me something that you sell or build or produce or own or created, what am I going to get with it? What's the stuff I get with it? Next, I need to articulate the problems or the challenges that what I offer overcomes. Well, Mitch, I only sell fun stuff. I sell experiences. I sell entertainment. Really? You've never been frustrated? You've never been angry? You've never been bored? You've never been lonely? In the middle of a pandemic, you've never been just bone weary, tired, and you need a few moments of distraction? Music and entertainment have a place to fit too. So what problem and challenge would something like entertainment overcome? And third, what do you stand for when you invest in relationships? Because relational selling means I can articulate to another human being what it means for us to do business long term. And I'm going to, again, use myself as an example. And I want you to think about it for yourself for a moment when it comes to your business. It means that things will always be crystal clear. Always. You will always have a clear answer from me, even if the answer isn't nice. It will always be actionable. In other words, whatever we discuss or choose to talk about in the midst of our business relationship will be something you can tangibly use. You can apply. Third, it will be repeatable. meaning that it doesn't require me to be in the room. Your ability to learn how to do what I offer you is something you take away and applies for your business for life. When was the last time you thought about what it meant for somebody to do business with you and to be able to articulate that in a way that says, this is what my business stands for? Because when you meet somebody, they want great value, meaning the price matches the features they get. They want to know that here are the problems I have myself, that my business or the marketplace that it sits in or the type of business I have, these problems or challenges are, let's say, universal, that what you're offering will solve those. And that when I invest my time and money in you, that I understand exactly what the value you provide as a human being to me is. So I know that I can trust that my money is going to be well invested. As you think about this for your business for a moment, I need you to write something under each one of those. What is the stuff people get, the features, advantage, benefits? What problems or challenges does what you offer solve, take away? What pain points does it remove? And what do you stand for in that relationship? In other words, what should people expect from you in your business and what it means to be in business with you? I want you to take a moment and I want you to write that down. And if you've been writing while I'm talking, wonderful. But I want you to look at and articulate it, because the other part that I'm going to admonish you for now is that we're also incredibly clever animals when we think about this. And now I want you to take whatever you wrote down or when you're done, and I want you to simplify it into as few words as possible. So if I describe this and my business as an example, Mitch, what stuff do you get? I help business owners with their finance and their cash flow, manage their time better, learn to sell, operate their business and hire more effectively, and to plan, direct, grow, build a strategic plan that encompasses their entire business. There's the things you get. The problems and challenges that get overcome in business are universal. People always have ineffective cash flow and they never seem to have enough money. They can't sell and market very effectively. They don't have time or don't know where to start. And when it comes to their staff and their employees, it's often very difficult to find them, hold on to them, or retain them long term. And then it's even tough to say goodbye. And when you work with me, it will always be crystal clear what you need to do. You will always know how you're supposed to do it. And it will always be something you can take away and do yourself. That was about 40 to 45 words, perhaps a little more, to explain the thing you get if you do business with me, the base problems and challenges that it overcomes, and what it means for me to invest in a relationship with a client or a customer. Now, whether your business is serious or fun, whether it sells something or where it sells an idea, whether it sells a product, you need to be able to articulate in as little a footprint of time and space exactly how that language is going to match for your business. Because the moment you can take it and put it into a structure, as I just have, here's what we offer, here's what it fixes, and here's what it means to do business to us. You can, for the very first time, take that information and give it to another human being. Or you can take that information and put it online. You can take that information and put it in a paid ad. You can take just that information, and every time you meet somebody else that has the potential to take what you offer, you can invest that portion of the relationship with clear and concise information. So your features, advantage, benefits, what's the stuff they get from you? The consultative side of sales, what problems or challenges do you solve? And then relationally, what does it mean to do business with you, and what does your business stand for? Now, I'm going to offer a piece of insight for a moment that's going to open up the floodgates, because I'm going to guess that the bulk of people paying attention right now tend to be in small or medium businesses. Okay, Mitch, that's great, but this doesn't sound like what the big companies do. I challenge you to go look at the advertising or marketing for most of the major companies out there right now, and tell me in a hurry you don't get a sense for their products and what stuff they offer, how it fits into your life, takes away pain points or gives you advantages or just makes things better, and what it stands for from a cultural perspective. And once more, I'm going to use this as an example for a moment, and I will point for a moment to the apple on the back. I like Apple products, I really do. Other people don't, and that's okay. Other people have love for Samsung and Google and Huawei, et cetera, et cetera. Other people use Dell laptops and Intel laptops and et cetera, et cetera. It really doesn't matter. Most of this technology works the same. But Apple, and I'm going to use them as an example, does a really good job of explaining exactly what you get. And they equate it to the price point that's there. Now people can say price is too high, price is too low. But the reality is that you know exactly what you're going to get out of Apple. You know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a phone or a laptop, or you're going to get earbuds, headphones that are going to, have wires or not wires. And by the way, there's the wired version of them too, right? Just sitting there, just hanging there, waiting, just in case these ones don't work properly. So you know exactly what you're going to get when you go to the website. The same thing for Samsung. You're going to know exactly what you're going to get. Samsung doesn't just sell phones, they sell TVs and refrigerators and all sorts of other stuff. But if you go and you look at their website, you're going to be able to navigate and find the stuff that they offer very quickly. Each one of those things and stuff they list there, whether it's a Samsung phone or a Samsung refrigerator, quite frankly, is going to tell you all the stuff you get with it for the money you're going to spend. Then it's going to do something really subtle. It's going to start solving some of your problems by saying, hey, this fridge has got more room than most fridges like this that fits in this kind of space. The average kitchen cabinet cupboard cutout is about this size and about this wide. And this fridge is going to fit in that hole, but it's going to give you more room inside to fit more things. So if you have a smaller house and a bigger family, this fridge is just going to fit more stuff. What does that sound like they're doing? They're solving problems. They're taking away pain points. A lot of people, if you have an older refrigerator, they're narrow, they're not as deep, they don't hold as much stuff. And you're thinking, well, if I look around it, I can see there's a space all the way around the fridge. When you go buy the next type of fridge, and let's say it's from Samsung, for example, and it fits way into that space, you're going, that doesn't seem like an awful lot. And it sticks out a little further than it did before. But the moment you open those doors, you're like, man, this is way more room. This has to be twice the room of the other one. Well, no, it's not that much. It doesn't create space out of nothingness. Okay? But what it does is it occupies that space in a more efficient fashion. And then what it does is it gives you the sense that you can just hold more and provide more for your family. From there, they tell you what Samsung stands for. Samsung builds good products. How do I know this? I got a Samsung TV hanging up on my wall. I got a Samsung fridge in my kitchen. But Mitch, you're an Apple dude. Nah, Apple doesn't build TVs and fridges. But Samsung does. And I like their TVs and their fridges very, very much. And you know that you get quality products out of them. So for us, when we look at each one of these, it provides a feature advantage benefit for every one of these products. They tell you the problems they're going to solve. The fridge is going to give you more volume inside, more room inside. So it's still going to only fit in the same space, but you're going to pack more stuff in there, which means if you got a busy family, or you got changes in diet, or you got a big meal. Remember we talked about retail not that long ago about how we had Halloween and Christmas coming up? Well, in Canada, we just had Thanksgiving. In the US, they got Thanksgiving coming up in November. That fridge is going to hold more stuff for when your family's around you if they're allowed to come to your house in the middle of a pandemic. So it's going to fix your problem by space, just being able to accommodate more food to be able to cook for those nearest and dearest to you. And if they build a good product and they understand what it is, your likelihood of buying from them is going to be there. So if you have your feature advantage benefit, the problems or challenges you overcome, and what it means to stand for business, then you have answered the very first question inside of sales. Because the moment you can articulate that in as few words as possible, that means that your own personal sales cycle is going to be faster. When it's faster, what does that mean? You can end up having more conversations. Does that make sense? So far this morning, what we've discussed is there are 5 different things or pillars that we need for your business. That we have direct sales, we have paid advertising, we have marketing, we have business development, and we have that customer service, that retention standpoint. What we've just talked about now, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for the commentary, guys. From there, what we've just discussed now, can you see how if I know what I sell, what it fixes, and what it means to do business with me, how that fits into each one of these places? Does that change for you the perspective for a moment that when I directly sell, if I get more efficient because it's faster to explain what I offer, what it fixes, and what it means to do business with me, does it mean that very likely my direct sales cycle is about to speed up? If I take that information and plug it straight into my paid advertising, what's the likelihood you're getting across the best foot forward for your business when you pay money to have your business talk to people on, I don't know, Google, YouTube, Facebook, a flyer that comes in the mail? When you take that information and you input it into your marketing pillar or cycle, what's the likelihood your business is going to be far clearer on what it does to the outside marketplace? And in other words, if that information is what you continue to repeat over and over and over again, how quickly do you think you're going to educate your potential audience, your customers? When we can articulate that feature, advantage, benefit, those problems and challenges that we fix, and what it means and what we stand for when we build relationships, when we go to that business development pillar, plan, direct, grow, when you can articulate all of that information together in as few words as possible, how much more efficient does your entire sales process become? Because you've done most of your planning. Now that pillar is an important one for a moment. And lastly, if you are very clear and very concise on what features, advantages, benefits, in other words, what stuff you sell and the value that they've got, the problems that it fixes, and what it means to build a relationship for you, that last pillar, that customer service one, how much more likely do you think it is that you're going to increase or be able to note an increase in client or customer retention, or your ability for your clients and customers to be able to leave reviews for you or even refer you, if that information is very clear and concise? Now, while we're here, because in about 17 minutes, our first other speaker of the day is going to be coming on. I want you to think about the information you've got right now. And I asked you a question early on. Direct sales, paid advertising, marketing, business development, planning and understanding your business, and customer service. Did you have something that was going on in all of those? Next, we talked about schools of sales. Traditional sales or neo-traditional sales, feature, advantage, benefit. Here's the stuff you get when you pay money for what I offer. Consultative sales. Here's the problems or challenges. Here's the pain points I take away. And relational selling. Here's what I stand for and what investing in relationships looks like and what you can expect out of us when we do business together. So now we've gone and we've said to ourselves for the first time, self, for my business, what is my feature, advantage, benefit? What's all the stuff people get when they pay good money for what I've got? Next, what do I fix? What problems? What advantages do people get? What challenges do we overcome when I provide that? And third, what we stand for a relationship. Now that information can pop into each one of these, I want you to take 2 minutes and say, if I have this information, really concise things, can I see for the first time now that maybe I can much more easily understand what I'm supposed to provide into each one of these if I don't necessarily know how to deliver it? That's important to note because this information itself gives you the information that your business requires to increase its sales across all 5 of these pillars for your business to grow. Just this alone already gives you enough information that your business is capable now. It might not have the technology or the tools or the method to do it yet, but to be able to deliver into each one of these effectively. From there, I want you to say to yourself now, what have I done in the last year in each one of these? What do I do on a regular basis, or what do I do consistently for sales? What have I done, or what do I do on a regular basis? And I want you to write it down for paid advertising. What have I done, or what do I do on a regular basis for marketing? What have I done, or do I do to plan and measure what my business is doing as it grows? And what have I done, or what do I do from a customer service side? In other words, talking to my clients and customers, following up with my previous clients and customers, asking them to provide feedback to me, reviews and testimonials, and asking them if they're able to refer. I want you to be able to articulate that information for your business for a moment, because it's going to be important to note that you've got errors or holes and inconsistencies, and very likely that behavior doesn't happen all the time, all the ways it needs to. Businesses, though, need to note that we must have that for business to succeed overall. And inside of a recession, a business that delivers consistently in all 5 of those areas is going to attract more business and more clientele. So I want you to note what you've done. And now I want you to get aggressive for a moment and write down what you plan to do next. It's okay if you don't know how to deliver, but I want you to write down how you're going to plan to do it next. Now, as you're writing that, I want you to think, okay, business development, that's the planning side, right? That's where I measure things. How am I going to know it works? When we build new behaviors, when we build new processes or tools, it pays to write it all down. So if all you do every time I say, hey, write this down, by the end of our time here today at 3:30, you're going to have your business development plan in place. You already know where you should be working on or writing right now your features, advantage, benefits. In other words, what people get when they pay good money. What's the product or service, or what do you provide for people when they pay you good money? You should already have an idea, or should be writing down or jotting notes right now, or making maybe some changes or amendments to your business when it comes to how you fix problems and overcome challenges. And next, you should have an idea for the first time, or you should be looking at it critically, what it means for your business to stand for itself inside of building relationships. From there, I want you to equate it to each of these 5 behaviors, what we did, what we plan to do, because you've got the core information that needs to go into it. Next, for each one of these pillars, you need to pick one thing that you're going to do, direct sales. If you are your team's only sales team, great. Because when we choose to plan and direct and grow, business development pillar, right? We choose to figure out what to do. And I say, okay, I'm going to sell more consistently. I'm going to sell more regularly. I'm going to sell more frequently. Even if it's busy and it's a little tough or tight, I'm going to make sure to reach out and communicate with at least 1 or 2 or 3 other people on a regular basis. Okay. And when it's quiet, I'm going to know who I want to talk to even more frequently than that. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. Makes an awful lot of sense. But I want you to pick what that action is going to be next. I'm going to try and do 1 sales call every day, even if it's really busy. Okay, very cool. I'm going to try and make sure that I have 3 or 5 sales calls every business day. Okay, effective use. Good. I'm going to make sure that my business focuses on sales 1 week out of every month. And that week is going to be a great deal of input from myself or my team to be able to sell effectively. I'm still talking in pillar 1 right now, direct sales. I want you to write down what that action is going to be next. Then when you're done with that, I want you to go back and I want you to look at that paid advertising. Now that we've got some semblance of understanding about the features, advantages, benefits for our business, whether we're writing them down or whether we're changing them right now, paid advertising. What did I do before? What am I going to do next? Now, one of the first things you're going to have to decide is, how much am I going to be able to invest? And right now, there's never been a better time, and this is a segue for a moment away from sales and selling in a recession, except to say that paid advertising is the next closest behavior to direct selling in your business. So there has never been a time that's better in this world to be able to spend $1 a day to get your business to talk about itself when you aren't the person talking about your business. So I want you to give yourself permission right now to write down, for paid advertising, I'm going to actually spend some money on my paid advertising next. Great. Good. We're going to pick that. And then what's that behavior going to be? I don't know what I should do for paid advertising. I have no idea. It is a dark and murky place, or I am a hardened warrior when it comes to digital advertising or promotions. And no problem. I already know what I'm going to do. Wonderful. But I want you to pick an activity you're going to do next, not something you're doing now, one thing you're going to add. Because there are also no excuses when for as little as $1 a day, meaning $30 a month on average, or let's put this in perspective. If I told you that you could grow your business and attract more people, and it was going to cost you $365 for an entire year, but you could spread it out over every day, $1 a day, would you spend the dollar? I see Greg laughing there. He's like, well, when you put it like that, that's pretty silly, right? Because whether you got a lot of money or not a lot of money right now, $365 isn't a lot. It might be a lot for you to take out of your wallet right now. There are some people on this call, or maybe even live, where $365 would hurt. Okay. There's other people where you think, man, it's just $365. Cool. I'm in. Mitch, what do I do? What I'm telling you is that $1 a day equates to $365 for an entire year. And you only have to spend it every day once, one time, $1 at a time. So if you take the feature, advantage, benefit we've just discussed about your business that you're either adapting, modifying, growing, or writing down for yourself the first time, and then the problems and the challenges you overcome, and then what it means to stand for your business, what it means to invest in a relationship, what you mean when you do business for somebody else, that language now is giving you a reason to spend $1 a day. How? Facebook, Google, YouTube, Instagram. Now I've said 4 things that you might be going, I understand none of those words. That's okay. Because for your $1 a day, there's resources you can accumulate for free or information that will teach you how to spend that $1 on Facebook, that will teach you how to spend that $1 on YouTube, that will teach you how to spend that $1 on Google. But it always has to start with, what does my business offer? What does it fix? And what does it mean when I develop relationships with my clients and customers, before you can spend that $1 a day? I'd spent $3 a day. Great, Greg. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Absolutely. Greg, thank you very much for sharing. So that is pillar 2, paid advertising. Pillar 3, marketing. We have our features, the stuff we offer, the problems we fix, and what it means to invest in a relationship. Marketing is the free one for your business. You could pay other people to do marketing, but marketing is the free one for your business. Does your business have a regular behavior anywhere inside of a marketing realm? If not, then what's going to be the activity you're going to pick to do next? Now, I'm going to give you one after. I'm asking you right now. I'm going to finish through for the last 2 pillars in a moment. But what activity are you going to pick next for marketing? Number 4, business development. Well, we're already discussing that right now because we're actually planning for our business for the first time. So pillar 5, customer service. It's client reviews, testimonials, and referrals. What activity is my business going to do next? Now, I'm going to give you the free version of each one of these, except for business development, because we're already talking about planning. And then I'm going to give you something that's a low-cost alternative, because anything that is a low-cost alternative can become a high-cost alternative if you have enough budget to invest. Does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So no-cost alternative for direct sales. You, or if you're paying somebody else right now for sales or to regular talk to people, you need to give them a copy, or you need to regularly commit to every time I have a chance to talk to somebody, whether I actively follow up with someone, in other words, I'm calling them to talk about whether or not they want to do business with me, or I am following up with somebody that has expressed an interest in the past. What is my feature advantage benefit? What problems do I fix? And what does it mean to invest in a relationship with me? But you have to do that on a consistent basis, and you have to pick how often you're going to do it. Pick 30 people a month to talk to. Remember the $1 a day in paid advertising? Choose to talk to one person a day about your business. Now, if you want to take 2 days off a week, you decide that weekends are really good for you and for your mental health, wonderful. Then in 20 to 22 business days a month, you'd better talk to 30 people a month. And when you do, you want to start a conversation. This is the free alternative right now. You want to start a conversation where you want to learn about them and their business, and you want to tell them about the stuff you offer, your features, advantages, benefits, the problems you typically fix, and what it means to have a relationship with you. Talk to 30 people in a month. Next, paid advertising. We talked about $1 a day, 365 days out of the year. You're going to spend that $1 a day on Google. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google itself, and in the search bar, you're going to type in, how do I use paid advertising on Google? And it's going to come up with all sorts of information. You see all sorts of websites, but the only ones you want to look at is Google. That's it, just Google. How do I start a paid advertisement on Google? Whatever comes up for Google, read that. Because Google built the engine for Google Ads and Google AdWords in the back end to actually be able to talk through and set up for the average person to be able to do it themselves. Now, there's a reason you pay professionals in marketing to do it, or SEO and stuff like that. But they set it up in such a way that the average person can actually do it themselves. So you're going to go with Google, how to use paid advertising in Google, and just read the Google stuff and do what they tell you to do. And when Google says, hey, I'm going to suggest you spend $15 a day, you're going to go, nope, I want to spend $1 a day. And then what are we going to use for that advertising? What is our feature advantage benefit? What problems do we fix? And what does it mean to invest in a relationship? And Google will tell you, here's what you have to put in. What do you want to do? Do you want a pretty picture? Do you want to shoot a video? Do you want just words? What do you want to do? Here's where you write the words. Here's where you tell people what to do next. Here's where you tell people how to get a hold of you. Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to visit your website if you have one? Do you want people to email you? Do you want them to come to a Facebook page? What do you want those people to do when they see the information you provide about what you offer, what problems you solve, and what it means to invest in a relationship with you for $1 a day? Third, marketing. You're going to pick one place in the entire world, Facebook. And you're going to go into Facebook and type in, how do I start a business page on Facebook? Mitch, I've already got one. They've got multiples. Well, in my case, I'm on the back end of 42 different business pages right now. I've already got it. That's crap. I don't need to type that into the search engine at the top. Awesome. You're already out of the curve. Then you're going to go to your business page and you're going to take the features, advantage, benefits, the products that you offer, and you're going to start to type them in one at a time, once a day. This is something that I offer. Tomorrow, this is something that I offer. The day after, this is something that I offer. The day after that, this is something that I offer. And then you're going to go to your problems and challenges that you overcome. Hey, when I work with clients or customers or people buy from me because they want this problem fixed. Cool. Next, what does it stand for to be in a relationship? What does it stand for to do business with you? You're going to take that and you're going to put that on the page and create a post, and you're going to publish something like that once a day. So every day on Facebook, your business is going to talk about either what it does, what problems it fixes, or what it means to be in a relationship with you in business. Mitch, I've got a business with dozens of employees. This sounds inane and like horse shit. I'm telling you right now, chances are your business isn't doing this. Or if you're paying a person to do it for you, they're not doing enough of it. So there are 3 of the 5 pillars, and I'm going to leave the last one, customer service and review, for after, because we're coming up on our first guest speaker of the day. Now, this guy has been on our stage a lot because he is part of our family. He is familia. He's part of our syndicate family. He is part of our stage presence regularly, and he has been a friend of mine for 13 months now. Lucky 13. Lucky 13. And that is Dr. Alan Lyko, or Dr. Barry Lyko, or Doc, as he is reverentially known to me, as well as to other people in his life. Doc is a multi-time best-selling author in the middle of our pandemic. What does that mean? The guy knows how to sell books and get people to read when people aren't spending money in the middle of a pandemic. So that's why you need to listen to him in the middle of a sales summit or a sales conference on a Saturday morning, still in the middle of October. And Doc's going to be talking about the secrets of getting highest prices. Right now, we're just at the part where we're going really simple strategies. Price is part of that value that people need to know. And getting the maximum value for what you offer to the marketplace is desperately important. Doc has no bones. Now, what you need to understand about Doc is that he was once upon a time an actual doctor. And if you don't know Dr. Lyko's name, it doesn't ring a bell at all. He was one of the top dermatologists in the world, right in our own backyard, for nearly 30 years. And then professionally retired to become an educator, a coach, and an author. In other words, to teach people not how to become more successful doctors, but how to become more successful in business and in life. And with that, I'm going to highlight my good friend, Doc Lyko. I'm going to ask Doc Lyko to come off of mute. I'm going to take myself off of highlight as well. Doc, it is always a pleasure to see you. Thank you, my friend, for sharing this morning. And the floor is yours.
Mitch, it's so good to be here, and thank you again for being on your stage. I see I have Boris Johnson here today, so please forgive me. I think it's becoming an MO for us celebrities. We like to have hair that's sort of out of control. It's a funny thing. You know, a couple of things that happen as you get older. Your hair gets out of control like mine. It just doesn't want to stay where it is. And then there's you guys with no hair out there, which even makes it more funny. You know, nature has a sense of humor as we go on. Now, you know, my talk today is going to help every one of you. For you who sell a product, it's how to get sell your products higher than prices than competitors. But for everybody else, it's really how to get an increased salary. So how many of you want to have a raise today? How many of you want to take more money today? Come on, guys, don't be so shy. How many of you, show of hands, want to make more money? Yeah, that's what I thought. I think everybody wants to make more money. Why not make more money? If you don't want to make more money, what are you doing in syndicate? And what are you doing in this group? I mean, what are you doing wasting your time? Maybe you want to make some new friends. Well, this is a good way to make friends. Made a lot of friends here. I love talking to y'all and being part of y'all, but really the whole thing here is to make some more money, right? That's what the biz is about, right? So let's talk about making money today and what we're going to do here. And Mitch, I'm going to try and bring up my screen. Sometimes this doesn't work. You have to give me screen sharing here, Mitch. It's not working on my end. Host disabled screen sharing, it still says, Mitch. So see if we can get my screen up here. Is it going to work on your end, Mitch? Yes, no, maybe?
Give it a try now, Doc.
Doesn't seem to be working on my end. Let me try it again. Oh, there it seems to be. Okay, where are you, puppy? Let's bring up my PowerPoint. Okay, let's go for it here. Okay, so we're going to talk to you about the secrets to make more money. And Mitch just talked about a bunch of them there. So if you're not paying attention to Mitch, you guys are idiots. I tell things like a spade. Mitch, I'm as point blank as as anybody, right, Mitch? I think that's the way it can be. I was trained by Dan Kennedy, the no bullshit guy, and so I don't spend any bullshit in business. If you want to bullshit in business, go ahead, but you're not going to get it from me. I don't believe in bullshit. I don't have enough time in the day for bullshit. So let's not talk bullshit, okay? You want to talk to bullshit, listen to a politician. They are full of it, okay, guys? My personal view on this, but I don't go that way. And I'm going to bet you all the biggest stake in Alberta that each of you will get a raise today and more money today if you listen to what I say. Anybody in for that bet? Show of hands. Come on, bet with me. Okay, you're odd. I like a competition. If you don't have a competition, what's the point? Now, my views are based on this little guy's book, How to Sell at Margins Higher Than Your Competitors. Okay, does anybody know this book? Has anybody read this book? No, okay, good. Greg has. I love it. Some of you guys read. Mitch has. Okay, so number one, any of you guys want to make more money, read more books. Okay, number one, Pearl, write it down. Read more books. Read a book every week. I often read a book a day. If you went into my office before, I had tons of books. When my girls packed them up, they hated me. I had 15 boxes of books. In my office, I have books. In my house, I have books. You want to know the difference between a rich person and a poor person? A rich person has books. A poor person has big TVs. Okay, you want to spend all your time and waste all your money, spend time on YouTube and watching TVs. You will be going brain dead. Another pearl, stop watching TV. Now, how many of you guys say, I don't have time to read books? Holy Christ, guys, you only spend how much time watching TV? How much time do you spend wasting in a day? Have you ever heard of audiobooks for you guys who drive around for a living and go from place to place and can get those on there? Have you ever heard of CD players you can put things in there and get people talking to you? So number two, waste less time. Read books, listen to books. How many guys of you exercise? Well, guess what? You could be listening to a podcast on that and learn something. Learn something new every day. You will make some money. Why? Because other businesses can teach you more about your business than your business itself. Oh, did you ever go through a drive-through and get some food? I do. Well, guess who invented them? The banks did way back 30 years ago. Then The drive-in food places figured out, well, we should do it too. Number one drive-through in the world, McDonald's. Who's the richest company in the world? McDonald's. Why? Because they don't only make new foods, they also make new technology. What did they do? They took the drive-through window and put people through it. Has anybody used the McDonald's app lately, where the app is available and it sticks in your face? Yes. Why? Well, they want to keep track of you. They want to know exactly what you're doing. They want to make you buy more Big Macs. Smart. Okay, how many of you buy a pen? Come on, everybody buys a pen. What's the cost of a pen? Good question. How much is a Bic? About $1 a pen. But if you buy 1,000 pens of the Bic type with your name on it, you can get them for 19 cents a pen. You need 1,000 pens with your name on it or your business name on it so you can give it out to your customers. Look up on the internet who could get it for you. You get the same thing as a Bic. Here's another pen, $2.49. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the most expensive pen in the world. It costs $429,000. How many of you are going to buy a $429,000 pen a day? Well, I don't think many of us, but for somebody, maybe one of those sheiks in Arabia wants a pen like this. Why? Because they want it. It's something that they like, okay? So what determines the price of a pen? Well, if it's a commodity, it sells for a commodity price. So in other words, you don't care if it's a Bic or one of the other competitors, they all cost the same. But if you make something unique, ladies and gentlemen, if you make something unique, you will have something unique. And therefore, that justifies a high price. Listen to what I'm saying. If you're different or have a something different about you, you can charge more than your competitors. What's different about you? Well, that takes a little bit of time to figure that out. And if you want, I'll give you something to do at the end of this show, and you will learn a little bit about what's more different. Okay? Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. What does Connor McDavid make? $14 million a year. Okay? What does Leon Draisaitl make? $8 million a year. Are they worth it? Well, it depends to whom. Is Leon Draisaitl the best hockey player of the year, like they said he was? Well, sometimes yes and sometimes no. There's been time I could throw my shoe at Leon Draisaitl because he's sitting around picking his nose and doing nothing. Other days, he's the best player on the ice. Okay? So another thing about raising your price, be consistent. Don't show the bad person you are at some days and being lazy. Be good every day, putting an effort every day. For every day I worked as a doctor for 30 years, I gave it my all. Every day. Write this down. Give it your all if you want to be the best paid player or the best paid person. Connor McDavid, on the other hand, puts out all the time. So I think he's worth $14 million. Liam, it's debatable. Okay, tires. My car needed new tires the other day. I drive a Lexus EX, okay, a Lexus luxury car. This tire cost me $500 a tire, okay? If I went to Canadian Tire, I could have gotten 4 for that same price, exactly the same tire. Why? Well, I think they probably sell more than my vehicle, and people buy there. Did I want to go to Canadian Tire? No, I didn't want it. I paid the price because it's convenient for me to go there. My Lexus dealer does everything for me, and I like my Lexus dealer. My Lexus dealers on the West End is Bruce Kitland. He's a great friend of mine. We have lunch Bruce Kirkland, by the way. He's a great friend of mine. We have lunch every month. We talk about things. So I go to Lexus, okay? Now, for any of you who have a business that's like somebody else's business, if people like you, they're going to pay more with you. Write that down. If they like you, they're going to pay more with you. Why is that important? Because you got to raise your prices and make more money, right? Okay, that's what I'd like you to do, raise your prices. So tires again. This is the one from China. They cost $100 a tire, exactly the same as my tires, except they're made in China. Do I want to buy a Chinese tire right now? Not really, but I found a dealer that puts them on. So my $500 tire costs $100 someplace else. Now here's another key to raising your prices. Do you see what the price of this tire is? It's not listed. Wow, they're smart. Why? Because everybody on the internet can go shopping for tires. So to find out the price of this tire, you have to call or you have to go to them. You know what these cost for the same tires mine were? Interesting, $700 a tire. Okay, so by not listing prices and not allowing them to shop your shopping around, here's something you can do. Don't list your prices. Idiots list their prices. If you list your prices, they can't talk to you. If they talk to you, there's a chance you could bring them in. If you have a good receptionist that knows how to schmooze a customer, you're likely to get them in the door. Okay? Don't list your prices, especially on the internet. Here's another Michelin Pro. Same tire essentially as mine. What did I pay for my tires? $500. Michelin's selling the same tire for $621. Another price strategy, gentlemen and ladies. Have a full range of prices in your shop. Let them choose between you, and you. Don't let them go anyplace else. Because if they choose between you, and you, then they're going to stick with you. Otherwise, you'll send them away. You don't want to send them away. When they go away, they might lose them. Here's another tire. The same sort of thing I wanted. Nokias are wonderful tires. They're made in Sweden. They're virtually the same as mine. You heard the cheap tire was $100. Here's Nokia's at $143. I paid $500 for my tire. Why? Because of convenience. Are you getting some of the strategy down? Where on your head if you're getting it down? Are you understanding how you can sell at better prices than your competitors? Okay. Again, somebody didn't list their price. Smart. Who was it again? Bridgestone. Bright people. Let's talk about watches for a minute. How many of you have owned a Timex watch in your lifetime? Anybody remember what the motto was? It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Right, you got it. Okay, I remember that. Another way to sell at prices higher than your competitors is have a motto. If they can identify something with you, they will come back to you over and over again. If they come back to you over and over again, guess what? You don't sell them one now, you sell them another one tomorrow, you sell them one the next day. So if they come back to you over and over and over again, you make more money, right? Mrs. Smith comes back to you 5 times a year and she buys something for $200 at 5 times a year, you've just made more money, right? Okay, another way to do this is have a newsletter. Oh, do you have a newsletter? Everybody's saying no. No. Who has a newsletter? Who doesn't have a newsletter? Okay, let me tell you the secret of a newsletter. A newsletter gets people to come back to you. And every month you send a newsletter to a person, they have a better chance of saying to you, did you know that companies that do not have a newsletter lose 10% of their business every month? What? You lose 10% of your business every month if you don't have a newsletter? Can you afford to lose 10% of your business every month? When I was a cosmetic surgeon, I couldn't. Oh my God. Okay, can you write a newsletter? It's easy. You've got an internet. You can cut out articles and paste into them. You know what? My #1 article that was read was about my dog, Willie. Willie was the most famous dog in the world. Everybody used to love Willie. In fact, it became so popular, that dog, that when my dog died, I got thousands of cards, gifts, and letters. People were mortified. So if you have a newsletter, write about your dog. If you like cats, write about cats. I and Mitch believe the same. Cats should be shot or killed rather than. Anybody remember that Planet person that used to go eat dogs on the show? What was his name, Mitch? You remember? I used to go around and eat cats. He used to go and eat cats, and it was funny. It was funny. No one eats cats, but it was funny. I don't like cats, so I don't write about cats. But if you have a dog and a cat, write both. Why? Because your customers love cats. And if you they love, do something to get them to like you. Okay, makes sense? Am I coming across with my strategy now? Okay, here's a nice little watch. This Timex watch sells for about 159 bucks. This one sells for, $69. Okay, Timex sells watches for 169. They sell them for 269. They sell them for 69. Why? Because they keep them with the Timex. Great. Now, here's that high-priced watch again that I told you about. Oh, remember, here's the most expensive watch in the world. It sold for $34 million. Why did it sell for $34 million? I don't know, but I think somebody liked it more than other watches. They wanted something that was rare. Something that's rare or unique sells for something that's not rare or unique. Do you remember that once in Edmonton, we had a grocery store that used to fly in a loaf of bread every day for 300 bucks a loaf? Do you remember that, Mitch? Yeah? Well, they did. Why? Because it was unique. 300 bucks makes it unique. Does somebody need a 300-buck loaf of bread? No, but it makes a great conversation piece. So when you have everybody over for supper and when you'll have them over again when COVID's gone, having a 300 loaf of bread is a great conversation piece, believe me. Really does it. Okay, let's go to my other passion. I love photography. My hobby is photography. I love taking pictures and I love expensive cameras. This one is insane though. This is a Leica camera. It's sold for $10,000. Why? Because it's rare and unique. There's only one. Lesson in your businesses. If you have something that's rare and unique, price it more. Make it something, Mitch is the greatest coach in the world. Now, he can sell his services for a lot more than he does. We've talked about this. He doesn't do it because he doesn't want to harm people, okay? But if Mitch wanted, he can sell his services for 10 times what he is now. And I've told Mitch, you should sell some of your service to some of the people out there if you want to. He said, yeah, but I find those pieces are the biggest pain in the ass people in the world. So another thing about business. Number one, don't sell to people you hate because they'll make your life miserable. So another thing about business is get rid of those that are causing your business a lot of pain and causing you a lot of pain. Fire customers regularly. If you're not, they're coming back to haunt you. All they do is bitch and complain. And bitching and complaining is not a good thing. Danielle, thank you. Danielle's giving me the thumbs up symbol anytime I'm saying something right. So if any of you, if you know where the thumbs up symbol is, click it for me because it helps me to know I'm making my message. Okay, cameras. I like Henry's camera service. It's on the internet. They give me good service. So another thing that makes a business unique if they give good customer service. These people, they write me, did you have anything wrong with your camera? They will lend me a new lens for a week before I actually buy it. So camera guys are like me. They always like new lenses. We don't want to spend $500 for that new lens if we don't have to. So they lend stuff to you. So another pearl is lend stuff to people for a week and let them try it before they buy it. They'll buy more of that stuff. People just want to try before they buy. Right, Mitch? Is that right? Always like to try before they buy. Televisions. Oh my God. I went looking for televisions the other day and my mind boggled me. Oh my God, some are cheaper, some are more expensive. It makes no business why. Here's one for $3,999. Oh, wow, that is stupid. I think that's something that doesn't make sense. But here's another one. What's this one for? $4,950. Do you get my thing here, guys? A thing can sell for anything that it wants to. And what determines the price is largely what you set it at. Now, how many of you, show of hands, set your price because you know that your competition only sets it at a certain price? Is that what you do, Danielle? Do you set your price because somebody else is doing it? No. Now that's stupid if you set your price at the same price as somebody else, because then your customer is setting your price for you. Your competition is setting your price for you. The guys you're competing with are setting your price for you. Why the hell would you ever want to set your price at the competition? I don't know. So I'm sorry for being crude and mean to you guys today, but you told me you want to make more money, so I'm getting you to the end. I told you I'm going to get you a raise today, and I'm getting you a raise. Danielle, did I give you a raise today already? Good. Okay. Microphones. Anybody doing podcasts here? Matt, you're doing podcasts, I think, now. Anybody want to do podcasts? Well, if you don't, you're an idiot, because podcasts are one of the best way to get your message out to a herd easily. It's like having your own radio station and getting your message out there. It also gives you access to radio stations because your podcast goes every place that radio stations do. The internet is the new television network, and it's the new radio network. So guys, if you're not doing podcasts, learn how. You will get a raise. Why? You'll be more visible. Visibility means you get more business. Oh my God, people, do you want more business? Be more visible. You want more business? Become a celebrity. How do you become a celebrity? Well, I can teach that to you, okay? But you got to learn that. Why do you want to be a celebrity? Celebrities make more money than non-celebrities, okay? Okay, here's a Rode microphone, okay? I bought my microphone that I use every day. It's a wonderful Audio Technica AT something or other. It was $150. The Rode microphone, same thing. is what? 450 bucks. Rode also sells one for 999 bucks. Are you getting the message here, guys? Prices are elastic. They go up and down. People buy them for various reasons. Okay, here is the world's most expensive scotches. Mitch and I share something here that we like expensive scotches. We can't afford them, but we like them. So we will go to some restaurant sometime and try an expensive scotch. That's how you get to try an expensive scotch without buying the whole damn bottle. Well, here's some of those expensive scotches. $460,000, $250,000, $160,000, $94,000, $12,500. What a bargain! $12,500 for a bottle of scotch. I tried to show you guys something that's hopefully hitting you already. Prices are elastic. It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to buy it at that price. How do you sell your stuff now with that? Amazon has showed you the way, guys. It's available everywhere. You put your product on, you want to sell it to somebody, put it on the internet. Somebody's going to buy it at the price you sent it for. Okay, next. Oh, here's something I want to also point out to you. These are the world's most expensive vodkas. Absolute Crystal vodka is $1,000. Imperial Collection vodka, 9,500 bucks. See, vodkas have elastic pricing too. In fact, Absolute vodka, when they came out, their only marketing strategy was they wanted to be the highest priced vodka. So at the time, they set themselves as the highest priced vodka. Guess what happened? People started buying it. Another way to make yourself more is become the highest price provider. People want it that way. Okay, restaurants. If you like Japanese food in Edmonton, you probably have been to some of these. There's the Mikado, which is 5 stars. It also has 2-star pricing. There's West End Village Mall that has 1-star pricing. There's Japanese Village that has 3-star pricing. So you can empty your wallet at Japanese Village, or you could go to some of these others, okay? That really is interesting because the other day I was at my favorite restaurant in Edmonton, Ichiban. Ichiban. Ichiban is a neat restaurant. If you haven't been there and like Japanese food, try their Kobo boxes. They're really good. Well, yesterday, my wife and I were too tired. It was Friday night. So I asked my wife what she'd like to order. And she said, let's get some Ichiban. So I ordered Ichiban. Okay. Interesting. Their price was $53 for 2 dinners. Interesting. You know what they were before COVID? They were $38. So I asked the guy who was running the store why he's charging more. Was it because the prices went up with COVID? He said, no. He says, to be frankly, I'm getting tired and I really want to get out of business. I'm just beat up. So I raised my prices so I don't have to work so hard. So that way I don't have to sell as many things to make my business go. Well, think about that. If you sell less, you have to work less hard, right? Do you want to work less hard? Good idea. Your coronaries will last longer. Okay. Anybody been to McGavin Bread in Edmonton? Yes, and if you haven't, you should. They sell bread at $1 a loaf. They've done that for 30 years. Okay? So their price strategy is just they like to give their bread that's a day old at $1 a bread. Several bakeries in the city do that. But geez, guys, determine what you want to spend on any item and then go get it. McGavin's is easy to get to. They have a huge warehouse there of all types of bread. Okay, Anybody want to buy a luxury jet? Interesting. Luxury jets can go any place from $500 million to $100 million to $20 million. $500 million to $20 million. The $500 million plane is owned by some sheik of Araby. The $20 million plane you can get on the internet. Okay. So again, if you want to be, prices are elastic. Who likes sushi? Mitch, do you like sushi? Can you buy expensive sushi and cheap sushi? Sure, of course. Okay. Oh, that's a duplicate slide. Okay.
Doc, you can even buy sushi at a gas station. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Gas station sushi is some of the best you could ever have. I was out in Morinville at the gas station there, and I had some. It surprised me. Wow. Was it cheap? Yeah, pretty cheap. Not the cheapest I've had, but again, small towns have prices sometimes better than in town. Okay, the prices of food at Edmonton. Does anybody shop at Superstore? Okay, they're pretty cheap. Does anybody stop at Save-On? Guess what? Save-On's the most expensive store. Does anybody stop at Safeway? Yes, I think you do. They're in between. Why do I buy at Safeway when their prices are more expensive? Because they're convenient. They're right around the corner. It doesn't cost me much time. So again, people buy for different reasons. Know their strategies. Okay, I asked about Connor McDavid and talked about him. But here's the top highest soccer players. Anybody wonder who the highest priced soccer player is? Currently, it's a guy by the name of Leon Messi, $126 million. The cheapest of the top prices is a guy by the name of Gareth Bale. Are they any better than each other? No. So what determines it? Well, that's an interesting one. An agent once that I was talking to was a guy that used to get some of the players the top salaries. And his answer, it's what the market would bear. In other words, he'd shop his player around to every team, and whoever would pay him the most would get the thing. Now, if you're in a business or working for somebody, let's suppose you're an electronic engineer and you want to make more money, shop your services to others because someone's going to pay for them. If you're good, somebody's going to be able to pay more than somebody else. College professors and university professors frequently make more money by going elsewhere. They go from country to country. They go from university to university. So another strategy to make more money is to shop your services someplace else. Here's some other things for you. Here's the top baseball players, I believe. 37.7 trillion, 33 million. Does it matter? These guys shop their services around. Okay. Mitch, it's complicated, isn't it, as to who makes the most amount of money? But I gave you some strategies today. Did I give you strategies today? Everybody, I gave strategies to you. Did anybody learn one strategy that can help you make more money? Thumbs up, please. Tell me you got more, okay? Because that helps me to know that I've done my job, and if you can help me. Just let, you know, at the end of the day, I want you to take this home and have something to do that. But here's something that you need everybody to do. You got to get your customers to choose between you, and you. If you don't choose between you, and you, you're going to not make any money. Here again, Kentucky bourbon. Kentucky bourbon is wretched. I don't know why the hell anybody would drink bourbon when they could drink scotch or vodka. But my God, some people don't have any pellets. So the number here is the Eagle Rare Double Eagle bourbon. $20,000 for a bottle. Oh my God. Here's another strategy that you can talk about. Plumbers. Did you know that plumbers have various prices even in our city? And in the city, a plumber goes between $100 an hour down to about $30 an hour. Why? Because different people have different needs. So different prices for things. Electricians, $30 to $20, a big range. Well, if I was an electrician, I certainly want to be at the top end of things. And largely, that's because that guy sets his price where it wants to be. Okay. The cameras I already talked about, how they have different prices, even in the same thing. Now, the other thing here, plumbers, we talked about that already. Okay, let me go on. Okay. NHL top salaries. Mitch Marner, $16 million. Surprising. Austin Matthews, $15 million. Surprising. John Tavares, $15 million. Surprising. And they all play for the same team. Oh my God. Carey Price, $15 million. Is Carey Price worth $15 million? Well, obviously he was for Montreal because they still have him. But will somebody pay? More than likely. Okay. So Connor McDavid is not the highest priced player. Interesting. Okay. So what do I want to tell you some more? I want to tell you a little bit more about me. And, you know, many of you guys know I was a top dermatologist. And my number one procedure was liposuction. My liposuction procedure, I learned way back about 30 years ago, and I was one of the first to offer liposuction in Edmonton. So when I started offering liposuction, I first started at $3,000 a procedure. But you know, my shoulder was getting worn out and I was getting tired. And so I said, no, I'm going to make more at this. So I raised it to $6,000 a procedure. Okay. Now that was interesting because everybody would pay at $6,000. Then I went to a course by Dan Kennedy, and Dan Kennedy said, you're nuts. Why are you doing this for $6,000? And I said, what would you recommend? He said, you should be charging $20,000 for it. I said, are you crazy? $20,000 for a liposuction procedure? He said, Barry, that tells me more about you than anything else. You don't want to charge $20,000. So the $20,000, he said, try it. Charge it for $20,000 a procedure. And he said, don't you dare be the person to tell people about this because you don't believe in that price. If you don't believe in that price, you will never get that price. So I did not believe I could get $20,000 for a procedure. So I turned it over to my girl, my nurse. You're going to tell the patients now that I have a $20,000 liposuction procedure. Well, guess what? Yes, that's right. I charged $20,000 for liposuction 30 years ago. And I continued to do that throughout my career. Now, I eventually got tired and I didn't want to do as many, so I didn't make as much money. And of course, there were more doctors doing it, and people didn't want liposuction as much now. But if I started doing liposuction now, I would charge $40,000 for it. Now, when I was doing liposuction, I was the highest priced person in Canada. I was the highest priced in the world. And guess what happened? People started to call me from Toronto and Vancouver and fly to me because I did $20,000 liposuction. Now listen to what I'm saying, okay? If you have the highest price, you're appeared to be the best. Are you the best? Well, I think I was. Oh, come on, I was the best at everything I did, right? Yeah, right. Are you ever the best at everything you do? No, you're never the best at everything you do. But the answer is, if you price yourself at the best, you're likely going to get more. Remember what I told you about Absolute Vodka. When they priced themselves as the highest, people thought that they were the best and started buying more Absolute Vodka. Smart strategy. Now, here's something that's really weird, is when you sell the highest price, you also are the lowest price. You should sell the lowest price as well, because then they choose between you, and you. So in other words, if you have the lowest price, they continue to buy from you. If you have the highest price, they buy from you. So they stay with you. But if somebody else offers the lowest price and takes it away, they'll take your customers away. Now, I know this has been confusing. It was confusing to me. So I want to do something for you guys to help you. Does anybody want a strategy that they have themselves that they can use in their business to take things away and use it today? Does anybody want that strategy that you can do and use it? How many of you want to make more money by the end of the year? How many of you want to make more money next year? Mitch, I know you do. Come on, guys, you're lying to me. You're kidding me now. Everybody in this room said they wanted to make more money and a higher salary. Okay, so I'm going to do something really nice for you. 2 weekends from now, I'm going to put on a seminar just for you, okay? I'm going to put on a 3-hour webinar where you can stay in the comforts of your home, and we will put together some strategies, and we're going to work on them. Now, I'm only going to list this for 20 people. Why? I don't want to teach a lot of people this. I'm tired. I'm in retirement. I'm not going to do this for everybody. Why do I want to do it for Syndicate? Because I love you guys in Syndicate. You're my family. You're my tribe, as Mitch calls it. I want to do what's right for you. So I want you to develop the strategies that you. And for today only, the price for that is $397. Why is it $397? Because I want you to pay something so it has value, people. If you pay nothing for it, it has no value. And you probably won't do the stuff I tell you because you won't. You'll say, oh yeah, right. I didn't believe it anyhow, and I want you to implement. Okay, so for $397, you could have something that I generally charge $997 for. Wow. $397 for something I charge $997 for. You can use that tomorrow once we do it. Okay, guys, when am I doing it? 2 weekends from now. To get this, you have to text me to BASL. No, do this to my girl, Vera. Assistant@leica.ca. Assistant@leica.ca. Vera's my right-hand girl. She'll take all your names. In the headline, type seminar. Say, I want Dr. Leica's seminar. For $397, 20 of you lucky people will be able to find out how to increase your money and your seminar right now. Guys, don't pass the gift horse up in the mouth. You're being stupid if you do. I find a lot of Syndicate people are wonderful people, but you tend to be lazy and you don't tend to do the stuff that's good for you. This is a lifetime opportunity. I don't think I'm going to offer it to anybody in Syndicate again. Why? Because I want to keep these secrets to myself. And will I share it with others? I don't think so. Look, guys, I've got a lot of secrets. I can teach them to you. Mitch has convinced me to share some of my secrets that I knew years ago and bring them home to you. And I've got a bunch of strategies that will probably help each and every one of your business. So my email address again is assistant@leica.ca. I'll type it for you as well, and you can have that, assistant@leica.ca. Leica.
Doc, I've got it there already.
Oh, thank you, sir. You know I'm a slow typer, Mitch. Okay. Sir, did I do what you wanted me to? Did I elucidate the audience?
Doc Leica, as always, my friend, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your time with us today. I know you'll be hanging around a little bit. You've got some other stuff to do, but Doc, thank you very much for coming in and sharing this. For our audience that's here and those that are watching live, Dr. Alan Leica, Dr. Barry Leica, great friend of mine, author. Check out his books. You can see one over his right-hand shoulder. Well, our view anyway. The Secrets of Living a Fantastic Life. He's had 3 of them go like that so far. He's got a 4th one coming out right away. He's got a 5th one coming out after that. It just keeps going on, and it is about education illumination. Doc, thank you so much.
Mitch, can I put in one more pitch?
Go
Mitch
for it.
is getting in on this book. This is a book called The Ultimate Success Secret. This was written by me and Dan Kennedy in 2005. Dan Kennedy is the expert on small business. He's the expert on no BS business. I'm letting a select number of you to be a co-author of this book for $6,000 Canadian. Now, what would it do for your business? It associates you with the master. So when you're going to your customers and showing people you know what you're talking about, this will do it. Now, how will it do that? I want you to write a little chapter of 5 pages. Can you write 5 pages? Shit, you can write 10 pages or 100 pages if you want to do. But this will give you a chance to be associated with the master. So in your niche industry, you will be the best at what you do. So all of a sudden, you're a celebrity in your own industry. Again, remember what I told you about celebrities? They make more money. Now, I didn't find this book until recently. It was buried on my shelves under a pile of dust, and I wrote it with Dan in 2005. It was one of the secrets to my success. You want more secrets of my success? Pay attention to me. I'll be teaching them as I go along. Another way to do it is to write a book. You write a book, you will be a celebrity in your business. I will teach you how to write a book if you want. Okay. And if you want to become a bestseller, I can help you with that too. I know the secrets to that, and I can help you with that. So that's all I'm pitching today, Mitch.
Doc, thank you very much. As always, it's great to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Leica. Thanks for joining us, Doc. Ladies and gentlemen, whew, shake it out. We've been plowing through some material right now, and that is one of the biggest features that we always need to pay attention to when we look at selling. And selling during a pandemic, selling during a recession, selling during a global or a market correction, selling during any number of fancy words you want to use to describe what we have just been living through or are currently living through right now. It's irrelevant. You're going, okay, it makes a lot of sense. I understand the principle. Who's going to pay it? The product I have has a set price. The service I provide, there's only so much spread into the market share. I want you to pause for a moment. And when we have been talking earlier about our 3 sales schools, and I've said, write down the features, advantages, benefits, write down the stuff, traditional sales, the things that people get when they give you $1. They're going to give you $1. And you're remembering the dollar I said already about only spending $1 a day on paid advertising. So what do people get when they give you $1? What's the stuff they're going to get? Next, what are the problems are you going to fix? When they give you $1, what are the problems or the challenges that they're going to fix? Third, what does it mean from the relationship standpoint to do that? I want you to look at all of that and equate that to just $1. What are they going to get for that $1? And then if it's not $1, that's okay. Is it $5? Is it $50? Is it $100? Is it $500? Is it $5,000? Is it $6,000? Is it $600,000? By the way, Doc, as an aside, I've sampled 2 of the scotches off that list. We'll have to talk about that at some point, right? No, I didn't pay that much for a bottle, but when you have a few really smart people put their money together, you get a chance to have a little, not as much as a whole bottle, but certainly a little bit of it. Absolutely exquisite and well worth the price paid. So I want to use that for a moment. Mitch, you got too much disposable income. No, when I invested in drinking that scotch, I had no money, but I really, really wanted to drink really expensive scotch, which tells us that price, as Doc was equating for a moment, is elastic, meaning that we will always attach importance, thanks to emotion, to what we're going to buy. As we talked through before Doc came on, and illuminated on price itself and the fact that price is very, very fluid. In our marketplace, price for anything is subject to the emotion that people attach to the purchase they are going to make. And at the very beginning of this day, I started off by saying that emotion has been equated to why we recede so quickly. And in fact, when businesses start to shrink inside of a recession, the businesses in the marketplace shrinks faster than what the market is actually asking for, which means it creates a vacuum, a gulf, into which businesses that are willing to be aggressive and push for more business start to capture that. Next is to understand that people will pay what they equate value to. So when we look at our three schools of sales, traditional, features, advantages, benefits, all the things and stuff I get for the $1 I spend. And then we talk consultative sales, the problems that are overcome or the challenges that are built. That very first school has the toughest time, in essence, equating the dollar spent to the product it gets, unless the actual features are so far and above removed from its regular competitor that it is simple to justify from a dollar perspective the difference in price. When Doc was showing tires for a moment, you have to start to be really, really subtle or really look at the ads. It talks about tires, and I don't want to go down this giant dialection or dissection on tires for a moment, but tires have speed ratings, meaning the speed at which tires grip the road, right? And then the surfaces that they will stick to, the materials that can either the grooves can work with or not work with. So there are tires that work better for rain. There are tires that work better for warm roads. There are tires that work better for ice and snow roads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For those on this call from Canada or Alberta, our own backyard, for example, we know the difference between driving on winter tires and summer tires. But they make different types and styles of tires. So unless you start to look at the differences between the tires, the $100 tire and the $500 tire have no difference unless you're willing to look at the statistics, the features that go into each one of those tires to equate the difference in the price between a $500 tire and a $100 tire. Next, you have to think about the problem that you've got and did they adequately satisfy it with the tire? Meaning that if we're on winter roads right now and there's no ice or snow yet, depending on where you are, but very soon it's going to come, are you going to need winter tires because it just makes the drive safer? It makes your family safer. It makes your commute to the office much more efficiently, much safer, and typically much quicker. The faster you get grip, the better grip you've got, the faster you stop, the shorter distance you stop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These all become problems, but unless you know to think about that, equating the difference between a $500 tire and a $100 tire isn't quite there. And then there's the relationship that's being built. What do you understand about the companies that are building the tires, and what's the narrative in the story? So I want you to take your features, advantages, benefits. I want you to take the problems you overcome for a moment, and I want you to take what it means from a relationship standpoint, and I want you to equate it to a dollar. Is what you offer worth $1? Is what you offer worth $200? Is what you offer worth $300? Is what you offer worth $500? Whatever your current regular price is it worth it? Now, I'm going to use my own business as an example and not insights into my business, and certainly not a pitch, but just as a really good example. While Doc is talking, because I am always looking at the value of what I provide to the marketplace. And it's a really simple formula. In fact, I keep a really simple spreadsheet of all of my current clients and all of the potential clients that I could be working with. And at the click of a button, or a copy and paste, I can look at the different value my clients have by the space they occupy in my world. And in fact, for my clients, when you equate the service being provided, what it is to have a relationship invested with me, and the problems that I solve, I have 4 different columns of numbers. Because clients are at different places in my world, whether or not they might actually be able to afford the price. Now, is that justification? Or am I washing out on whether or not my price should change? but I can tell you at any given time what my clients are currently worth and what they should be worth. It is the same feature advantage benefit and the same problem to overcome. But I can also look at my client roster for a moment and equate clients that in many instances I am resolving the same challenges, but pay more than some other clients. Because the nature of the relationship that we have developed and the trust factor that's placed there. But it also says that if people are willing to spend that money, shouldn't everybody? I have price discrepancy for a similar service. Now, is it the same from client to client? No, because I have a very specific tiering inside of my business as well that tells me where I stop providing service. One of those first values is time. The next is access. Are you hearing what I'm laying down about my business? Is this a feature? Or is this overcoming a problem? Or is this understanding the value of the relationship? And then the level of problem that I am willing to solve for people is a direct correlation on the price that they're willing to pay. The moment I can equate my features like as like to another competitor and beat them with a superior product, I automatically have earned the right to ask for more money. Next, when the way I solve problems and overcome challenges meets or exceeds what my competitors do, I have automatically earned the right to earn more money. Third, when the nature in which I invest in relationships meets or exceeds my competitors, I've earned the right to ask for more money. Then when I equate all of those together to speak to the narrative and the story that my business tells, I can charge more money. That tells you that your price is more fluid than you think, depending on the product or service you offer. And now it's about positioning. So being able to sell effectively in a recession, what are we learning at this absolute moment? So we've got sales pillars, right? Direct sales, paid advertising, marketing, business development, which is plan and measuring, and customer service. Next, we have our sales schools. Traditional, I always have to know what stuff I'm giving away for the value of $1. Next, I need to be able to articulate what problems I fix for that $1. And after that, what the standard of relationship that's built gets equated to. After that, we talked about zero input or zero cost efforts. Direct sales. Start talking to one person every day, 30 people a month. Paid advertising. Start spending $1 a day somewhere. Facebook, Google, YouTube. Marketing. Take each of your features, advantages, benefits, the problems you fix, and what you stand for in a relationship, and publish something with a social media account attached to your business every single day. Fourth, business development and planning. We wanted to talk about planning, wanted to encompass all of it for your business, how to make more sales inside of a recession. We just discussed price. What is your current price? What should your price be? Next, what customers or clients do you currently have, and what price are they paying? Third, under business development, what price should your current clients or would they be willing to pay? Fourth, when you want to establish what you should be making, in other words, earning more money for the same effort and time being put in, what should your next clients look like? What are they from a business perspective? What are they from a client or a customer perspective? How frequently will they be coming to your business? What does repeated buying look like? How many people do you need to talk to compared to how many are going to buy what you have? How often will you need to communicate with them before they're going to buy? And can they refer after so you can increase your sales? What we've just discussed from a business development perspective is the most fundamental plan you're going to have. So now that I've given you a list like this, I want you to take a blank sheet of paper. I want you to take a blank sheet, and I want you to start to write it as columns. And at the top left, I want you to write price. And then the next column over, I want you to write current customers. And then the next column over, I want you to write services provided. And then the next column over, how many people do I talk to right now? Next column over, how many should I talk to right now? How many deals or sales do I have to close? And then how much money do I need to make? The dollar you charge currently right now, your current price, has a current price and the price you should be listed at. Next, you have your current customers, your current clients in there. What price are they currently paying for your business service? And if you write down all of your clients or customers that you've worked with over a stated period of time, is it only ever that price? Or do you have some price discrepancy? Third, what clients and customers do you need next? In other words, what should your clients and customers look like? That column has two major categories. What does your best customer look like on a regular basis? What does an average customer look like for your business? After that, how many people do you regularly communicate with? And how frequently do you communicate with them? After that, how many should you be reaching out to? How often do you need to follow up? How many deals or how many sales do you have to conclude? And when we go back to the price we're at currently, or the price we should be charging, how much money do we need to make? So I'm going to give you a series of figures right now and show you how manipulatable sales and price is to equate to value. They can fit into all of these columns, but I'm only going to give you a series of specific numbers. So with these columns that we have right now, I want you to look at number of people that I should be talking to. In other words, the number of people I need to talk to on a regular basis. And remember, we talked earlier before Doc was, and I said, make sure that you're talking to 30 people a month, equivalent to one person a day. Okay? That's how many. And how often I need to be trying to communicate with them. So if I need to communicate with somebody at least 2 to 5 times before they're going to have the potential to buy from me, stale stats suggest that the average salesperson stops reaching out to a prospect after the second attempt, whereas it takes attempt 3 through 5 to get an 80% chance to close a sale. So if I have to communicate with 30 people a minimum of 3 times, that means that how often I need to try and communicate with these people means 90 times in a certain period of time, I have to be communicating with these 30 people to potentially get a sale. Next, how often is how many. How many do I actually need to close for a sale? And that equates to my price. So at the very beginning where we talk price, and as an example, let's set our price at $100. Price is $100. I want to talk to 30 people in a monthly basis, the equivalent of one person a day. And I know that if I'm going to get them to buy from me, I have to communicate with each of those people at least 3 times. So that means 90 times in a month, I have to be having points of contact with people. Next, how many do I need to sell? Well, my price, if it's $100 and I need to make $1,000, so at the very end, how many people, and then we also have how much I need to make. If my $100 a month needs to equate to $1,000 in sales, then I need to conclude 10 sales out of those 30 people every single month. So as a sample, as an example, so I've got columns where it says price, how many people to talk to, how often to talk to them, how many sales do I have to close, and how much money am I going to make at the end of the month. I have $100 for price. I have 30 people. I have 90 times I want to communicate, because if we don't talk to them at least 3 times, we don't have a chance to sell. I need 10 of those people to buy every single month. So a third of all of those potential prospects to make $1,000. So you should have $100 next to 30, next to 90, next to 10, and next to 1,000. Make sense? So now we're going to go back over, and under your price for $100, that's not enough. I want you to raise it by 10%. So your $100 now is going to turn to $110. Okay? So 100 is going to turn to 110. Next, we're going to go over to the column that says how many people. I want to talk to 30 people a month. We're going to change that to 33. We're going to add 10%. Make sense? So my price is going to go from $100 to $110. Instead of 30 people, I want to talk to 33, which tells me if I have to communicate with them 3 times each, how many is that? For all my financial planners in the room or accountants, right? It's 99. So instead, that's 99 points of contact or communication that I have to foster in the next 30 days. How many deals am I going to close? Remember we said that's going to be about a third? Now, here's where the math starts to get interesting for us, where we talk about return on investment for sales. We want to make more sales and we want to make more money, but for a moment, I'm still chasing that $1,000. If all I want to make is $1,000 and I get $110 a deal, and I'm talking to 33 people and 99 people instead, how many deals do I actually have to conclude now to make the $1,000? Anybody? I've had 99 points of communication out of 33 people. $1,000, and it's a bit of a trick question, divided by 110, now means that I only have to conclude 9 deals. Instead of 10 deals a month, because I talk to 30 people, if I increase my price to $110 and I want to reach out to 33 people instead, I only need 9 deals to get almost the same money. But if my number is a full third of these instead, so at $110, I want you to track with me right now, $110, and I'm talking to 33 people for 99 deals in a month, for 99 points of contact, my apologies. And if I got a 10 of them, if I got 10 the last time, I'm getting a full 10% increase. So this time, how many deals I want to conclude? I want to conclude 11 deals, not 9. And that gives me $1,210 I've earned at the end of a month instead of $1,000. I've made 2 significant changes. I wanted to talk to 10% more people, and I raised my price by 10%. Now, I've talked to 33 people in the entire month. I've had 99 conversations instead of 90. And at 10%, that gave me 11 deals to give $1,210 instead of $1,000. I'm showing you guys how to get a third more money right now for all of your math. Can anybody figure out the next change we've got to make? The next, where we talked about, and I said I would set it aside until after Doc talked about price, is that customer relations side, where we ask for reviews, testimonials, and what? Referrals. My job now, out of 11 deals for a month, instead of 10 deals at $110, and only needed to talk to 33 people instead, mathematically, is to get 10% more sales. I want one more deal by asking the 11 customers
that have just done business with me successfully and gave me $110 instead of $100, out of all 11, every time, all I'm going to do is say, if you were happy with my service, can you think of one person to refer? My goal is to get one referral. Richard, great point. I'll come back to you in a moment here on that. So I'm looking for one referral, one more deal at $110. That means that for my month, I make $1,320 by talking to 3 more people than the previous month where I made $1,000. Does that make sense? Now, when we look at price and making more sales, this is the most simple facet of sales measurement, business development pillar that we can use. What's interesting is that some of the most sophisticated CRMs, in other words, client relationship management software, and some of the most sophisticated sales teams on the planet have what is called a behavior board. In other words, just these stats that are no more complex than this. How many people did you talk to today? How frequently did you follow up? What was the value of the deals that you're going after? Have you followed up aggressively enough or effectively enough to get past the barrier of 1 or 2 times where the typically stops 80% of the time? And when you were satisfying that client or that customer with our feature advantage benefit, the problems we could fix and building the relationship, did you ask for a referral? Now, here is where we get really interesting. And Richard, I'm going to come back to your closing ratio closer to 100% in a moment. When we take our price increase by an average of 10%, and we're looking to increase the number of people we talk to by 10% to 33, and we're only looking for 1 referral. Here's an interesting statistic about referrals for you guys to bear in mind. So remember I said we'd leave that pillar alone? So let's go back for a moment to our customer service pillar. On average, if you have 5 happy clients, so I want you to write happy clients, and this is referrals. So I want you to write referral trees for a moment. 5 happy clients, and heck, you can draw them as stick figures if you want. In fact, I'd prefer it if you did. Draw 5 stick figures all on the same line on your page. So it looks just like that. Make sense? If you ask every one of those people to refer you 4, so pick any 4 of them and draw a little line underneath them, like just like that, are willing to make a referral. Out of those 4 referrals, 3 will actually give you somebody that's interested in talking to you. So now those 4 downward lines have 3 little people underneath. Out of those 3 people, actually the stat is a little over 80. 84% are willing to buy, but we only have 3 people to work with. 2 are going to make a purchase. So 2 of them have an underline. Technically, we should have something to do with third. When I do business with those 2 out of 3, I'm going to draw another line under those 2 and put another person in place. Nearly 100% of those people at the bottom, 3rd generation, will buy. So out of 5 happy customers in a client referral and testimonial round, that's 5 across the top. That's 2 more in the second layer and 2 more in the third. My 5 customers now add up to what? 9. Make sense? Simply because I ask. So 5 happy customers equate to 9 total. And I'm sorry, it's reversed with the camera. My apologies. That equates to 9 customers, which means that I either need to do even less business before from a sales perspective, or for 5 happy customers, remember our example where we're going to end up closing 11 deals instead of 10 at $110, plus ask for just 1 referral. So we're going to wipe that 1 referral out, because for every 5 people, we'll get a maximum of 4 more pieces of business. So we're going to take that 11 and we're going to knock 1 off. That gives us another 8. I want us to take those 8 deals, and I want to, those 11 deals that we're going to conclude at $110 and add another 8 to the bottom. That gives us a total of 19 deals. Now take your 19 deals and multiply by $110. Anybody real quick on the math to give me that figure? Before, where we did $100 for 30 people at 10 deals to make 1,000, we changed our price to $110 and talked to 33 people. We now get a maximum of 19 deals for $2,090. Will you get 8 referrals out of 11 clients or customers? I don't know. Based on you from a stats standpoint, the likelihood can be quite high. But if we don't investigate, implement, or invest into our business, that we are going to address the 5th pillar in our business for a moment. And remember I said, let's look at free or low-cost alternatives. So I'm going to reach out to 30 people a month. Instead, I want to make it 33. Okay? Low-cost, no-cost alternative to increase your sales during recession. I'm going to look to adjust my price by just 10%. And that's going to give me a set of behaviors. So I know this month, in the next 30 days, I must talk to 33 people. If I talk to 33 people, I know a minimum of 99 times I have to communicate with those 33 people to get them in a position where they can potentially buy. Out of those 33 people, I only need a third to say yes. Remember we said that 80% of sales happen after the 3rd to 5th point of communication, not in the first 2. And 80% of salespeople fail to follow up after the 2nd attempt. I have a potential of closing 11 deals. Out of those 11 deals, because people are, and the term I will use for this is first date principle. Nobody is ever prettier, happier, more excited than they are after a first date, which means when do you ask for referrals and testimonials from clients? When they are brand new. What's at stake now out of 11 new deals a month, according to the model, the formula, the practice model, is upwards of 8 referrals, which means to start the month with a $110 price tag instead of a $100 price tag, and the urge to talk to 33 people instead of 30, doubles the amount of money I make at the end of the month. From $1,000 to $2,090. By simply adjusting 2 numbers and then making sure that I follow up on a regular basis. Now, when we go to our 5 pillars inside of our business and we talk about a delivery on each one, let's take the efforts. Okay, Mitch, I'm not sure if I have enough time because it's just me, myself, and I hear this excuse very commonly to make 99 sets of communication points in a given month. That might be fair. So break that into 20 business days in a month. How many is that? It's 4 to 5 behaviors or activities that you have to have every business day in your sales cycle. Follow-up, communication, email, text messages, phone calls, etc. Is it realistic to fit into your time? Well, if sales and marketing is one of the most important pillars of your business, then where should prioritization of time come in? Not a dialect on time management for today, but to say that one of the pillars and foundations for business needs to be effective sales and marketing on a consistent basis, regular basis, daily basis. For small business owners, I will often say, if you don't sell every day, and if the amount of time and effort that you invest in your sales side isn't 4 times more than everything else, then you're not doing enough for your business. That doesn't even mean 4 hours for every one you spend taking care of clients. That's not what I mean. But your efforts need to compound. So we will go back to our 5 pillars now in sales. Direct sales. What have we just said? Well, instead of 30, I want to communicate with 33 people a month, and I'm going to adjust my price a little bit. Where'd the price adjustment come from? Business development. I looked at my price right now, what my competitors have, and then I looked at what I offer from a feature, what I offer to solve problems, and what it's like to build a relationship. And can I meet or exceed what my competitors do? If the answer is yes, I've earned the right to charge more money. Make sense? Next, I've said that I only want to communicate with 30, now 33 people on a monthly basis. So that's direct sales. Next, paid advertising. I want to spend $1 a day, and I'm going to use Google or Facebook, because when I go to either Google or Facebook, it's like, how do I run paid advertising on Facebook? How do I run in paid advertising on Google? How do I spend $1 a day in my advertising on Google? And then you use the Google resource to tell you how to spend $1 a day to do what? To get your business to talk about your features, advantages, benefits, the problems you fix, and what it means to build a relationship. And what do we learn from Doc? We don't tell people what our price is. Why? Because last month it was $100, now it's $110. They don't need to know. They need to equate value to what we're doing. Next, we go to our marketing. What do we do with our marketing? A regular behavior for your marketing on a consistent basis to develop and grow more. What do? We take our features, advantages, benefits. We take the problems and challenges we overcome, and we take our relationship points. And what did I say? We make sure that whatever social media channel, and where I started was Facebook. I started with my business on Facebook 7 years ago. I got into a partnership. I started that business on Facebook immediately. I ended that partnership 3.5 years ago, and I came back to my own business again, Mitch Kamich Coaching. And what did I do? Immediately started on Facebook. And some months, my business talked about itself marketing, just things and stuff on Facebook, up to 150 times a month, up to 5 a day. Right now, it doesn't do 1 a day. But the impression by my audience is that I always have things going on. That is the free stuff inside of marketing, talking about the stuff I do, the problems I solve, and what value I bring in a relationship. Fourth pillar, business development. We equated, what is the price that I charge for my product? What price should I charge? Next, who are my current customers? Third, who are my best customers? Fourth, what customers do I need to be talking to? Fifth, how many of those do I need to be communicating with on a regular basis? We've already figured that out. Sixth, how many of those deals do I need to close to give me the money I need? Seventh, how much money do I need to be making? Meaning, where do I manipulate my deals now in the form of our example? What should my price be? How many people should I communicate with? And what's interesting to note about all of this right now, when I say, instead of the example where I went from $100 to $110 and I went from $30 to 33 people, your business might need to make $10,000 a month. It might need to make $100,000 a month. It might need to make $50,000 a month. Now you can take your $1,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month and equate it to how many average customers you need at the price point you charge to create every month. Then you can take the average number of customers. So if you charge $1,000 a month and you need to make 10,000, we know we need 10 average customers. But now I'm going to use direct sales. How many people do I have to talk to try and find those 10 customers? Paid advertising, I'm going to spend $1 a day. Can it find me any number of those 10 customers on a monthly basis? Marketing, what I publish for free online, let's say just on Facebook, can it build enough presence in the marketplace to educate people how I at least meet or exceed my competitors for the features, advantages, benefits of my products or services? That the way I solve problems meets or exceeds what my competitors do, and that the way I build relationships, what it means to invest in doing business with me, meets or exceeds my competitors. Therefore, whatever price I charge will equate to you value-wise to more than what my competition does. And then from a customer service and client testimonial, every time I do business with somebody, do I have the practice to ask, if you're happy with my service, can you refer me to someone else? Or can you give me a testimonial for the service I provided? Now you're going to equate each one of those 4 behaviors to finding those 10 people at $1,000 to make 10 grand. And then we already know how quickly we can manipulate that to say whatever we need it to do so that the amount of money we make increases or grows. So instead of $1,000, now it's $1,100. Instead of 10 deals, I want 11. And out of those 10 deals, we know that if we ask for reviews, testimonials, and referrals, what's at stake is upwards of another 4 deals, which means we can actually equate to a 50% revenue increase. 10 deals go to 11 at $1,100. That takes us from $10,000 to $12,000. And those 8 more referrals out of those 10 deals that turned into 11 means that we go from $10,000 a month to $20,000 a month in revenue. Because we made sure to match the behavior in every category to meet the sales goal that we have and the dollar we need to earn. So with that, my brother with another mother, Darth Vader to my emperor, I'm going to turn the floor over to my partner, Mr. Ali Salman. Now, anybody that's on this call, I hope you have context for who Ali is and what he does. If you don't, Ali is at the helm of one of the fastest growing marketing companies in North America. 2 years ago, they were regionally centric in places like New Jersey, Austin, and Alberta. Their sales team has exploded by 300%, the number of people they've added to their own sales team. And they have had dozens of downlines in the form of services and products that they bring to the marketplace. And when it comes to price, here's a strange theory to notion. They actually charge less for what they do, not more, because they found a way to make it more valuable, meaning they keep more money. And then at the top end, they charge more now for the services than they ever have before. With that, my brother, my great friend, and my business partner, Mr. Ali Salman. Ali, welcome back to the floor, brother. It's good as always to see you. I'm going to spotlight you. I'm going to unspotlight myself, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mitch. Like, I couldn't take enough notes, man. Like, I think I have 3 pages full of notes. So Mitch, really good information. And whoever missed, Mitch's session, you can basically go back and review it, as we will be posting a recording on YouTube, on Facebook, and on other syndicate channels, right? And if you just want to learn a little bit more about the events and what syndicate is all about, you can go to syndicate.org. That's syndicate from C. Okay. Now, today, guys, we know that we are talking about sales. Sales is like blood. For like how important the blood is for our body, that's what sales is. And without blood, you cannot function. Without sales, you cannot function, because sales is equal to revenue. Revenue is equal to basically profits, because if the revenue is not coming in, you cannot do what you're supposed to do. And if you cannot do that, that doesn't translate into profits, right? So throughout today's sessions, we have talked about different strategies, different techniques, different ideas, different tools, and there will be, after the session, whoever is attending or whoever wants to basically more resources, they will be getting more resources, things like sales playbook, a couple of free resources I mentioned earlier in the morning, right, which we will be sharing with you, and also any presentation which we have basically went over. So the presentation, like any of the speakers have done, we'll share it with you so you can access it at your convenience, right? Now, since morning we are talking about sales. Now, we know that to have sales, one step before sales is what? Any guesses? It's basically your marketing, right? So sales becomes very relevant when you have someone to sell it to. Now, how can you find that someone to sell it to, right? That's basically your marketing. How are you going to find that person? Who who will buy your products, who's willing to pay for your products, who basically trust you enough that they take out their credit card and they take out their wallet and basically either buy your products or either buy your services. So that's marketing. Now, how can you make sure that your pipeline is full? Because see, sales become relevant when you have someone to sell to. What if you don't have anyone to sell to? That's what if you're struggling with that part? What if you're trying to understand that who your customer is? Where should I target them? How can I reach them, right? Because once you find a customer, a potential customer, then you can even think about selling to them, right? So let's basically today, my first part of the session which I'm conducting in this afternoon is all about selling during recession from a marketing point of view. How can you get your pipeline full? Okay, so we're going to talk about that, right? And after that, what I will jump into is I will jump into basically your video. See, video when it comes to lead generation is one of the really good ways to do lead generation. We already know that if I ask any one of you watching live or offline, where are you spending most of your time? I'm sure you will going to tell me YouTube, Netflix, Facebook, LinkedIn, and even on those platforms, what are you consuming? You're consuming video. So video is really, really powerful, and we will talk about that, how you can leverage video in order to get leads, because when you have leads, you can sell it to them. So let's basically, the first thing you will dive down into is how can you even attract those leads to sell it to when the times are tough, when the recession is going on, when the economic downturn is in in place. We know that economy is shrinking, it's not growing right now at this moment in time, right? So let's dive down deeper into that. First of all, I want to draw a clear line here today that, see guys, no one any longer has an unfair advantage. 20 years ago, if you are a small guy, you didn't have if you don't have money to advertise on radio and the newspaper, you're done, right? I mean, there is no option for you. Today, you can literally pick up a phone, right? Post it across all social media channels. You can create a video and get in front of millions of people. So no one has unfair advantage, because what has happened that smaller companies, right? If they and you pick up digital and adopt technology, it's a level playing field for everyone out there. Okay, and that's the beauty of in the market we are in today. GoPro, right? How many of you guys have heard about GoPro, right? This is a picture from one of their founders, right? I'm sure this is the guy who's basically holding it. And the way they grew to become a $1 billion company and basically kicked Kodak out of the market was how? Social media. It was social media videos which they start sharing it with the audience. If I ask you have you seen Red Bull videos? I'm sure you will say yes, right? But beside these GoPro, beside Red Bull, we have countless examples of companies who have turned into multi-million dollar or $1 billion companies just using social media. So just to start with, a lot of people come to me or talk to me today or in the last few months, and they're like, you know what, Adi, I don't have any money to spend on marketing. I literally have no cash flow. So there are free ways. There are channels which doesn't cost you a single dime to market and to get in front of thousands and thousands of people in instant second. And this is the power of social media, guys. This is the power of when you put a video on Facebook, Facebook doesn't charge you to show it to people unless and until you want to boost the post or you want to run ads on it. But all the organic views you get on Facebook, you get on Instagram, you get on LinkedIn, you get on TikTok, they're all free. Where else in the history you ever had a chance to advertise for free? Tell me that. What we are doing is we are not creating a lot of content. What we are doing is we are basically not being consistent with the content, right? Okay, and that's why our pipeline is not filled. And we always wait for bad times, right? When the times are good, we don't prospect. When the times are good, we don't build the pipeline. So when the times are bad, you're not chasing the customers. Because at the start of the today's session, what we talked about the example of a bamboo tree. Bamboo tree grows, it takes years to grow. Now imagine that, like, if a bamboo tree, the gardener says, you know what, this is not working, and he gives up the first month or the first year. He doesn't see the tree, like, which will going to grow in the next 3 to 5 years. He will not get the fruits of his labor because we are not consistent. So before I talk about any kind of practical, technical, tactical strategy tool or anything, make sure you guys, you are consistent in your marketing, in your prospecting, in your sales. Every day, make it a habit. Take out half an hour, take out 45 minutes, take out 1 hour, and purely focus on prospecting and marketing. Take it out of your time, because this is the most important function in your business as a business owner. And if you're not paying attention to this function, guys, you're making yourself very vulnerable. Okay. So face to face and online, this is how the marketing and online sales landscape looks like, right? This is how you generate leads. Well, we talk about syndicate.org, which is a networking and a referral group, right? Speaking gets you, like, new clients, meetings, print publications, direct mails, cold call, print advertising, association, trade shows, billboards, signs. All this is basically your face-to-face and offline channels. Now, online, social media, webinar, phones in a video, blogs and publication, email, search, online advertising, groups, online conferences, like, meetup.com, Pinterest, Eventbrite. These are all the online ways of generating leads. See, guys, no one business is good at everything. You cannot just say, you know what, you will do everything properly, you will do everything amazingly. It doesn't work. It doesn't, like, you have to be master of one or two channels. And that's where you spend most of your energy and your time at. You cannot be, like, the most watched TikToker, and as well as you can be, like, famous on LinkedIn, and also, like, you can be, like, doing well on Facebook. Pick up one social media channel, or pick up one channel, right? Like a medium, like blogs, like email, like search, and focus on that. Do it better than your average competitor in that industry, in that specific space. Like, let's say an email or SMS, if no one is doing it in your industry, you should take lead on that. See how you can utilize this to fulfill your pipeline. Now, why is social media is really important? Because 41% of Canadians, and I'm sure most of us, have already logged into Facebook and checked it out today. Not only once, we have actually logged into it multiple times. So see, 41%, 33%, 28%. These are the people who are logging into the social media channels multiple times a day. So the question is not that where your audience is. The question is, what are you doing to reach them? It's not about should you use Facebook, should you use LinkedIn? Well, people are there. But the question comes in that, like, do you even use it or not? Do you even create consistent content on it or not? Do you post on it every day or not? Are you creating videos or not? Okay. So before, 10 years ago, seller was in control, right? Outside sales, inside sales, fulfillment. You used to have brochures, data sheets, white papers, price sheets, testimonials, right? That's how people bought from you. Now, buyer is in control. What kind of shape your website is on, because that's the first thing they will see. Is your even website, like, people talk about leads, people talk about, like, opportunities. Well, when you go and check out the website, when you go and take a look at the social media channels, it's like, graveyard. No one is updating it. No one is polishing it. So it's very critical that you understand that, see, buyer is in control today, and you need to make sure that you have all these, like, tools in order to basically, like, get in front of the right buyer. Because you are no longer in control. Your potential customers are in control because they have access to information at their fingertips, right? There is also cost of not doing it right? It's like going to the gym and then also eating fast food every day. it won't gonna work. Or doing it all wrong. Because when you do it all wrong, you know what it does? It wastes your time. So the reason we are basically sharing best practices today, tools today, strategies today, so you guys can go back and genuinely start doing it in the right way. We want your pipelines to be full. We want your pipelines to be like, like a crazy, like, busy, that you're like, you know what? I have so many people to sell. Now, what most businesses do it wrong. This is the four part, like, four things I will go over, and you guys need to take a look at in your business that are you doing this wrong or not. Okay. Number one thing is that, see, at any given point in time, only 2% of the 2 to 3% of the people are in the market to buy today. Let's take an example of a realtor. Let's take an example of a financial advisor. Only 2 people in the market are ready to buy today. 98% of them are not ready to buy today. So are you talking to them? How are you connecting with them? Are you building a relationship with them? Let's say Ali, myself, I'm not in the market to buy a home, but I will be in the market in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So if a realtor really wants to earn my business, he has to genuinely start marketing to me like that 98% silent majority who is not in the market today, who is not ready to buy today. Second mistake businesses do is they get their positioning and their basically element wrong. We will talk about this in the second slide, so just hang in there with me. Third thing, that process is not followed. It's like doing 6, 7, 8 first and then getting to 1, 2, and 3. So follow the process, okay? Fourth thing, strategy is not in place. There is no thought given behind the plan. There's no thought given like, do we even have all the critical capabilities and capacity in order to achieve those results or not? So these are the 4 macro mistakes which companies make when it comes to their marketing. Now, this is why the wrong positioning can kill a product, right? We know that Haagen-Dazs, Baskin-Robbins, these brands are high quality and high price. Like for Haagen-Dazs, you can get $7 for a small bucket of ice cream, like 500 mil or something. Similarly, for Champions ice cream, you can buy like, 4-liter bucket for the same price. Now, if you're going to say that I'm an ice cream company and I sell it to everyone, this is where you will fail. Similarly, if you're going to say that like, I'm an accounting company and I serve everyone, I serve high quality, I serve low price, I serve low quality, I do high price, it doesn't work that way. You have to chart yourself somewhere on this chart as to how do you compete against your local and your national competition. When people get out in the market, what kind of choices they see in your space? Okay, let's talk about Remax, right? In real estate, Remax is one of the highest, like, it's an expensive real estate brokerage to join, but they are high quality and high price. They don't work on reduced commissions. Now we talk about ComFree, or we talk about 2% realty or 1% realty. They are low price and low service. So it's a very clear distinction among these 3 things, okay? This is a good example of identifying a gap in the market, that where your competitor brands stand, where your brand current positioning is, and what your ideal brand positioning should be like. I know that most of you haven't even thought about this way. You are a financial advisor, you're a realtor, you're a mortgage broker, you're a bookkeeper. You keep saying, well, this is what I do. Well, the problem is that there is 500 options in the market. So why should person choose you over 499 other options when you have a clarity as to where do you stand in your positioning? Because if the positioning is not clear, this is like you're selling a Lamborghini to a guy who will not spend more than $30,000 on his car. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how hard you try, it won't gonna work. Okay. This is the classic example of the mistake we make when it comes to we do selling. We do basically like, marketing, online marketing and sales. As a financial advisor, I was talking to someone and I was like, what do you do? And he's like, you know what, Ali, I do investments and I do life insurance. And I was like, okay. But the problem is that no one just gets up and says, you know what, I want a life insurance for myself. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You always start with a micro commitment. Always. Maybe like, why do we always say that, like, in marketing, give a free ebook or free cheat sheet or something for free to people in exchange of an email? Because you want to start with the micro commitment. Go to the lowest, like, cheapest service you have. Go to that first and earn your clients' trust on that. And then you slowly, once you sell them on home, then you sell them on auto, then you sell them on flood, and then you sell them on different kind of insurance products and investments, right? This is like, a dentist comes to you and says, you know what? I will sell you implants, which is for $5,000. All you need is cleaning. All you need is like, some basic work done. So always understand the value ladder in your industry. If you don't understand the concept of value ladder in your industry, guys, you're missing out on a huge opportunity, okay? Content. Let me ask this to you. How many of you have created consistent content in the last month? How many of you have created consistent content in the last 3 months? How many of you have created consistent content in the last 1 year? And if you're not creating content, if you're not creating blogs, videos, social media content, and things like that, how can you expect that your audience will see you? A lot of people struggle with that. Ali, what kind of content I should be creating? Hey, you know what? If you are, let's say, a safety industry, why not you basically create FAQs? People will love to consume it. Let's say if you are like, if you are in the real estate, right, then why not you create something along the lines of white papers or like, some sort of a helpful application tool where they can go in and like, find out the value of your home. So don't be limited with the kind of content you can create. You can create polls, you can create quotes, you can create resources, right? Like talk about resources, ebook, PDF, checklist, downloadable cheat sheet, mind maps. Pick one style of content and start creating every day. And then you talk to me in 30 days and 60 days out, I can guarantee you that you will get traction. And see, these are all the ideas of the content, right? So when you click on it, I've given you this link here. And there are 189 creative blog post ideas. So you shouldn't struggle with creating content. SEO, right? Paying 500,000, a lot of money. You don't want to pay that. This is the tool for $99 a month. It can help you optimize it. So the question is no longer about how can I do it? Who will do it? All of those things are there for you now. You just have to take action, right? This is a really good tool. I often share it in my presentation. It's called ink_, right? And when you're writing the content, it actually tells you that how good of a content it is. It gives you a score out of 100. So let's say when you're writing it, you think that you have done an amazing job, but you're getting a score of 50. That means you need to improve upon on that. So it's very, very important to start utilizing this free tools and technology in order to help you get those leads and get those clients and get those revenue and get the ball rolling, right? Rank Brain and US signals. We know that like if you want to now rank on Google, this is one of the major ranking signals. It's called Rank Brain, right? It all comes down to bottom line one thing. Are you taking an initiative and are you working on your marketing and sales every single day, at least an hour or 30 minutes every single day or not? And if you do it consistently, see, a lot of people, what they do is like, they will go to Facebook, they will waste half an hour and post one update and they're like, yeah, I did my marketing. Well, no, that's not marketing, sir. You're watching a cat video and you're watching a dog video. This is not marketing. You were wasting your time. And one thing, Doc Laika mentioned, which really struck with me, that people say, you know what, I don't have time anymore. Well, that's bullshit. You have time. Go to your screen time, go and take a look at how much time have you wasted on social media in the last week. And I'm guaranteeing you that you will find more time to market your business. You will find more time to do prospecting for your business. So the question is no longer that I don't have time. Voice search, getting very important, right? Google Alexa, Amazon Alexa, sorry, Google Assistant, Google has Echo, and Apple Siri, Microsoft Cortana, Samsung, Bixby. We are all using voice search. Have you thought about that in your business? Voice search is a really, really powerful way, because you know why now people are doing? People are saying, hey, Amazon, help me find a nearest local dentist. Hey, Amazon, find me the realtor with the highest reviews in Edmonton. So have you worked on, or have you capitalized on this opportunity or not? I know so many local business owners haven't even touched voice search at all. It can get you so many business like leads and potential clients. These are the 5 websites where you can go and find lifetime deals on softwares and tools, right? Okay. I can tell you that just yesterday on AppSumo, right, there was a there was a tool which was for $50 for lifetime deal for a video editor. So these are the 5 different websites where you can find amazing, amazing marketing and lead generation tools and softwares for lifetime deals. So you don't have to pay a monthly subscription fee. Email marketing is a classic example. SMS marketing is a classic example, right? Okay. These are some tools which will help you write better content. We talked about one of them, which is called Ink_. These are some of the other ones, okay, which can help you basically start working on your content game, okay. Email trackers, right? Email trackers are very important. Salespeople, customer service reps, headhunters, often we send proposals. Guess what happens to our proposals? No one answers it. Especially any one of us who's listening to us today, and we send proposals for prospecting, we know that customers don't get back to us right away. So this is a tool. These are the free tools which will help you track that are they opening up your email or not. Okay. This is a free tool. It's called Rocketium, right? We're just gonna basically watch a video here. What this tool does, it converts Google Sheet and raw data into videos for you. So again, the question is not that, is there a tool, is there a technology, is there a strategy, is there a technique? There is all of that present. How many of you are taking action? How many of you are actually working on it actively? Twitter chat is an amazing way, and guys, mind you that Twitter chat right now is very rarely used by small businesses and local businesses. It's an amazing, amazing way to get more leads, to get more interested clients for your business. Once a week, you schedule it out, minimum maintenance, right? And you continue to basically build momentum. Not only that, you can also, right, own that channel, because no one locally in your industry is actually looking at Twitter right now. So this is technically an open opportunity for you in order to capitalize upon. Okay. A lot of you create content one time, but I will basically teach you in the slide that how you create one blog post and turn that blog post into 20 plus different kind of content. So always you start with a written content. Okay, this is your baseline content. This is the first step. Let's say you wrote a blog post for 1,000 words. What you will do is you will convert that blog post into a downloadable PDF sheet, like a sheet, which you can put it on your website so people can download it as well in exchange of an email. Third thing, right? Okay, create a slide deck and you can share it on the slide websites like slideshare.net and different things like that. Create the same blog post into a podcast. Create the same blog post into a video. create the same blog post and chop it into a digestible social media updates. So this is one blog post you're converting and repurposing into different kinds of content, so you don't have to keep coming up with the new content. Similarly, turn that blog post into a Facebook Live. Turn that post into a bite-sized social media updates. Turn that blog post into Medium blog, right? Reddit. Post it at all these different social media channels as well. Okay. So repurpose your content, and these are I've enclosed two basically case studies here, which says that how Eugene earned over 100 subscribers on SlideShare by generally repurposing his content into slideshows. So a lot of you are already sitting on amazing content. All you have to do is repurpose that content so you can reach more people out there. Okay. Understanding your audiences, right? There are three kind of audiences, and this is we talked about it at the early stage of today's session, that how there are three kinds of audiences, and you shouldn't just put all of them into one bucket. When you put them all into one bucket, then you sound like it's really weird for people, because people who know you like a lukewarm audience and volcano lava traffic are very different from people who are ice cubes. And yes, like these are some interesting names: ice cubes, lukewarm audience, and volcano. So ice cubes are the people who have never heard of you. They don't know you. How do you prime them up? You offer them coupons. You can offer them cheat list and checklist, toolkit, calendar, podcast, email course, swipe files, infographic, white papers, industry stats. Versus someone who's ready to buy today, who's volcano lava traffic, it's consultation, it's quote, it's purchase, it's demo, it's trial. So understand your audience really, really well, and then basically go after them. Okay. Facebook ads. So in the chat section, tell me how many of you guys are running Facebook ads, or actually have tried it, right? Or have played around with it, right? Let me share something with you, that Facebook ads right now, the cost per conversion on Facebook ads, which Mitch was also talking about, you can start with literally couple of dollars a day. YouTube ads, you can start with a couple of dollars a day. You know how cheap the view is on it? Is 3 cents, 2 cents a view. That's how cheap it is, right? And one amazing thing is the better you get at advertising, the lower cost you have when it comes to basically conversion. So it's a simple thing on Facebook ads. When your relevance score goes up, your cost goes down. So the guy with 8 relevance score, right, is basically paying on average 20 cents, versus the guy with 1 relevance score is paying almost $1 for the same exact click. So when you're running Facebook and Instagram ads, always look at your relevance score, because this will predict both your cost per click and your click-through rate. Okay. This is how the Facebook, when you go to the Facebook and we are setting it up, it always show this, right? Don't go too broad, because when you go too broad, then you basically are talking to everyone and you tend to waste your money faster, right? Okay. Great, great point, Brenda. Like Facebook ads for e-commerce store. So Brenda from Aurora Heat, right? It's an e-commerce store. In the e-commerce space, Facebook and Instagram ads are killing it. It's really, really good. I shared with you that in the B2B space, in the services space too, Facebook ads tend to do really well, really, really well. Okay. Bad choice of ad placement. This is an example that in a Facebook experiment, right? What they discovered, the desktop ads had a 534% higher cost per click than the ads placed on mobile and audience network. You know that majority of the Facebook ads revenue right now, it's coming from mobile ads. Majority of the Facebook people they use it on their mobile. So whenever you are basically doing Facebook ads, put a lot of emphasis on the mobile, because 80% of your business and leads and clients and inquiries will come from your mobile ads, not from your desktop, not from other channels. Okay. Always A/B split test your campaigns. This is like saying that you know what, I have one cold calling script and that's all I try. It's not working for you. Try multiple different ways in order to get to the optimum results. So you get the maximum output, basically. Okay. Podcasting. I'm sure that most of us in today's session, we don't do podcasting, right? Podcasting is one of the fastest growing channels in Canada and in United States, in developed countries. So you have to ask yourself, is podcasting is a good way for you to get in front of the right customers? And I personally highly recommend podcasting for lead generation and for prospecting. Okay. List and numbers. Anytime you guys create content, always prefer list and numbers, because 36% of the people prefer listening to list-based headlines. You go to Pinterest, you type in parenting tips, you see which ones are ranking. They're all the list-based articles. So whenever you're creating content, always think about these creative ways. Top 10 myths, 17 science-based facts, 14 meals to help you. Okay. LinkedIn InMail. LinkedIn InMail is a really powerful tool, guys. It has much more higher open rates than a traditional email marketing. And I'll ask you, I'm just going to ask you in the chat section too, is any one of you is using LinkedIn InMail actively or not? And what kind of results are you getting when it comes to LinkedIn InMail or not? LinkedIn InMail has up to 60 to 70% open rate. You know how much is the open rate in the email nowadays? If you can get 10%, you'll be happy. 20%, you should be jumping. 30%, you're over the moon. This is a good example of how to send a message on LinkedIn InMail, right? Try to always be descriptive. Try not to sell them. Try not to be like that odd person who is right away gets to the, gets to the point and says are you interested in buying? It doesn't work that way. If you will build relationships through LinkedIn InMail, you will get much better results, okay? And we know that direct selling don't work. So these are the couple of examples of what we personally do on LinkedIn. What we do is we message people this line. It's called, I'd love to feature your professional story on our blog. Do you have time to jump on a podcast with several thousand listeners? So these are the two good ways where other person is definitely interested, because now you're talking about them. It's not about you. And we get an insane response rate. Okay. LinkedIn profile, make sure LinkedIn profile. All the other social media profiles are very polished. Most of your LinkedIn, clients I go to, this is the big banner. It's mostly empty, or the image is irrelevant to their audience. So always have a relevant image, always have a professional picture, always have this headline, which people see it. It's very important, very important. Okay. And LinkedIn is your a micro website, because, on LinkedIn, you guys can basically add new sections. So let's say you specialize in state planning, but you also specialize in basically businesses who are transitioning from generation to generation. Why not add a new section on LinkedIn about that? Because the more new section you will add, the more you'll be able to relate with those people. Okay. Google Images. This is an underutilized opportunity. I can ask most of you that how many of you have guys have basically used Google Images in the last let's say 2 to 3 months. Most of you have. So Google Images is a really good way, and it's the second biggest search engine or third biggest search engine after Google and YouTube, basically. So Google Images is a really good place to basically get traction. TikTok versus Instagram versus Snapchat. This is the comparison of 3 different platforms, right? If your audience is millennials and it's a younger audience, then you guys should be on TikTok. If your audience is older people, when I say older, I mean anyone who is 35 and above. That means that it's safe to say that you don't need to be on TikTok. Okay. And we know that TikTok users are young, right? But the TikTok videos are here to stay. And we know that a lot of people are now sharing the TikTok content into other content as well. Okay, we have seen this clear trend now. Okay. Some of the basically pages, a lot of you probably are not on TikTok. So this is what the 5 major screens are. Homepage, where you can swipe to see the videos. There's a discover page like Instagram, where you can type in and you can discover the content. Let's say you are in financial industry, you can discover that. You are in bookkeeping, you can basically search for that, right? Video shooting, this is the video shoot page where you actually record it. Notification and your profile. Okay, this is basically 5 different places. And these are the 4 different ways you can do advertising on TikTok as well. So now actually officially you can advertise on TikTok as well. Is it effective? I'll be very honest with you. It's a very new platform right now. The ads just got started a few months ago. So if I would be you, I would of course focus more on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Google more when it comes to ads. But TikTok is also a good platform to run ads on it too. Okay. Email inspiration for designs. There's a website called emaillove.com, right? You guys can go there and get some inspiration, get resources, discover beautiful email templates used by bigger brands out there. And you can genuinely get some inspiration when it comes to designs, right? Because a lot of us, we know that email is one of the best ways to reach to your customers, but we struggle with inspiration. So this is a good website to basically go and take a look at. Okay. How can you find anyone's email? Let's say you want to find someone's email. These are the 4 different tools which can help you find anyone's email on the damn planet. This is how powerful it is. Okay. So because we know that once you have someone's email, you can do a lot of things. You can add them on LinkedIn. You can actually reach out to them personally. You can add them into your lookalike audience on Facebook or Instagram, and you can show your ads to them. So it's really, really powerful having someone's email. Okay. We talked about a plugin called Rocketium. This is another one. It's called Lumen. What Lumen does, it takes your current blog post and it converts it into videos for you automatically. So all you have to do is let's say you have 5 blog posts, it will convert it into videos for you. So it's a really good tool to help you basically convert existing content into basically different kind of content. Okay. Free hidden tools and gems. If you go to Chrome Web Store, and you type for marketing, you type for sales, you will find a lot of free tools and resources which you guys can utilize. Okay. There are really, really amazing Chrome extensions which you can use, and make sure you click on the free button here. So you can basically just download the free ones. Okay. Different tools, right? Some help you with social media, some help you with video, some help you with marketing, SEO. So different tools out there. Okay. Let's say if you don't know what is the demand for your product or a service, how can you find that out? These are some of the free and paid tools to understand what is the demand in the market. Let's say again, you're selling insurance. You want to find out that how many people in Edmonton look for home and auto insurance. You can find that out. How many people are looking for RRSPs? You can find that out. How many people are looking for bookkeeper? You can find that out. Because once you know what is the market size, then you can at least start creating a plan, right? All these tools, which are, most of them are free, they help you understand the data. Because once you have the data in your hand, you can make very powerful decisions, guys. Very, very powerful decisions, right? Click to tweet is a good tool to add on your website. Right? You have probably seen it. Anytime someone copies it and it automatically converts into a tweet. So you can easily embed it on your website, right? Anyone looking for a quick wins in SEO, this is the 3-step process we apply at Rapid Boost, right? Go to your Google Webmasters, number 1. Go to search queries and look for the keywords which you're already ranking for, but you are not in top 5 positions. And once you identify those, These are the four things you have to do. You have to add more content, you have to build more links, you have to promote on social media, and you have to tweak on-page SEO. If you do 4 of these, voila, guess what? It translates into customers and quick wins when it comes to search engine results, okay? Getting leads from Kijiji, Craigslist without spending on the ads. In some instances, let's say if you're a bookkeeper, you are a photographer, you are a massage therapist, you are like Kijiji, Craigslist, and Facebook marketplace is a really good places to also get leads from. And this is how you can do that, okay? So let's say anyone who posts on, I need a new photographer on Kijiji, automatically you will get a notification. So it's very powerful. I mean, you can actually get leads in real time from these social media channels, right? Okay. Custom audiences, it's a really, really powerful feature of Facebook, okay? And I also have given a downloadable, sheet here on Facebook ads, okay? Custom audiences, if you're not using it on Facebook ads, you're missing out. It's an impressive feature. It's really powerful, and you should be utilizing it hands down, okay? Overflow model versus production model, probably one of the most important slide of today's presentation I have. See, generally what people do, right? Entrepreneurs, service providers, businesses, what they work on is an overflow model in marketing. They don't care unless they are in trouble. Then they react, right? Problem is when they react, they tend to not take strategic decisions and they do things haphazardly then, right? So what you have to do, you have to basically work on production model. Means that you're producing and building your pipeline consistently. Doesn't matter. You're busy today. You're, let's say, booked out. You're solid. You're making you're killing it. Still, you should be prospecting. Still, if you're not prospecting, that means you are basically putting yourself in trouble in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year out. So always focus on production model versus overflow model, okay? These are some unconventional ways to do lead generation and get new clients. Sending someone's a cupcake, right? This is the example of someone sent me a cupcake, a box, right? So a non-traditional ways also work really well. I just want to highlight this today and get very clear that, see, as much as online and as much as digital is something that we are pushing towards you, and we are basically saying, because of course, online and digital is easy to do, mark in your head that traditional ways are also very relevant and they can be really powerful as well, okay? You have a traffic on your website, but it's not converting. These are the 5 different tools to help you basically understand the traffic matrix on your website. All of them have a free plan. Let's say you have 200 hits on your website every single month, but you're not getting any leads from it. These are the tools will help you identify the gaps in your marketing. Okay. Second most visited page on any website is what? About Us page. A lot of us, our About Us page suck. They are not in good shape. How can you expect that people will trust you if you don't have solid information on your About Us page? And I have given 10 points here on how you can make your About Us page super solid, okay? So, I mean, in today's presentation, we don't have time, but as you get your copy, go over it, create a list of these things, and basically start tackling them one by one, okay? So guys, time is very critical. Business waste over 70% of the internet leads. You know why? Because they call them after some time. So the odds of contacting a lead if the lead is called in 5 minutes are 100 times higher versus 30 minutes. This is very important, guys. So response time matters. If someone calls you, especially it's a lead, pick up their damn phone. Call them right away. Because the more longer you're gonna take, the higher chances are that lead is moving on. That lead is basically calling your competitor, or he has already moved on to the second solution. Because see, nowadays, guys, in old days, we used to, let's say, call a company, we used to wait for them. We used to say, you know what, they will get back to me after 2 days. Today, there is no wait. There is no wait. If you are like, taking 2 days to get back to your lead, half of your leads will be gone. So always like, stay on top of your leads. We call this presence detection, because you want to stay on top of their mind awareness. Okay. These are some of the different tools on how you can use direct appointment booking on your website. Okay. Calendly, Schedule Once, Flex Booker, right? So I give you just a quick example of why I'm a big proponent of like, of booking like that, right? Like, let's say Rapid Boost Marketing, right? You guys will see right here in the bottom that when you come here and you click on this, you can directly schedule a meeting from here. So what you're doing, that you're shortening the sales cycle. Right now, let's say if it takes 3 meetings, 4 meetings for you to just show up, no, you can actually do this at much faster pace by using these free tools, okay? Fix your home base, right? This is your website, we call it an average website, which converts at 2.5%. On 1,000 people will get 25 leads. A better website, which converts at 15%, will convert at 150 leads. So this is how important it is, okay? This is the free tool. It's called Social Blade. It helps you understand the campaigns your competitors are running. You can reverse engineer the successful campaigns and understand more about their likes on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and understand what the hell is going on. Like, what are they doing? Why are they gaining so many followers versus you, right? These are some of the other tools I've listed, right? Okay. They all do different things like SpyFu. If you are basically like, you want to download your competitors' most profitable keywords, you can do that. What Runs Where is a really good tool to understand like monitoring your competitors' ads, okay? If you're launching a new website, these are the 8 different steps you need to go for in order to make sure that you guys get like, proper results from your launch, from your website, okay? There is this tool number 5. It's called Responsinator. See, most of the people I know that your websites may be not in the best possible shape on the mobile. Always go and check the responsiveness of your website. You will be surprised how many people's website on the mobile suck. It's not opening up. It's slow, right? Shorten your sales cycle. We talked about it. Either you use one of the calendar links, or either you basically use live chat. We know that people nowadays want instant access. They come on your website, they have a question. If you get to them right away, your chances of conversion are much higher. So calling and emailing are the past things. Nowadays, it's book an appointment or live chat. This is much more faster way to convert, okay? Google conversion goal tracking, right? Google Analytics is a free tool. It will help you understand that what's working in your marketing and what's not working in your marketing. It's like a GPS. It's like a mirror in your marketing. So make sure you guys utilize Google Analytics. And with today's resources, I will be providing you some free resources on Google Analytics as well, because see guys, tracking is very critical. If you're not tracking it, you're winging it. And winging has a high chances of not being successful, right? Okay. Stop playing the guessing game. This is one formula that as a business owner, you need to understand. It's cost per acquisition. That's the bottom line. What does it take for me to make the phone ring? What does it take for me to get one customer in my business? Once you know this number, you can work in a reverse format. You know how much to spend on marketing. Let's say now you know that it takes you $1,000 to get a new customer. You need 100 customers, you need to spend $100,000. Simple math. Okay. Video strategy. These are some of the free keyword research tools for your video. If you're looking to create videos and you're not sure on what topics you should be creating on, these are some of the tools for you to basically like utilize. Keyword tool, LSI graph. A lot of these are Uber suggests that these are free tools basically. Okay. Video promotion, right? Whenever you create a video, right, 50% of the work is done. The rest 50% is actually pushing it out on YouTube, on your website, on your email, on your social media, on your question and answer websites, right? So don't just create a video and post it once. Keep basically like, distributing it. Distribution is as important as creation. Okay, very important. Reviews. All of you, in fact, most of you now look at Google reviews when you're buying a new product or a service. This is an amazing way to earn people's trust, right? So reviews, 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 keep focusing on reviews. They are very, very critical for success, okay? Local SEO mistakes, right? I will not go deeper into this in today's presentation, but if you are doing local SEO, or if your business does SEO at the local level, these are some of the major mistakes we see that people make when it comes to ranking locally, right? Because Google is a cash cow for local businesses. That's what we say, okay? Designing the third most important page on your website, services or product pages, right? A lot of the people, they don't have good services or product pages. Don't have one generic service page. Let's say you're a dentist, dental implant should have a separate page. Emergency dentistry should have a separate page. Teeth whitening should have a separate page, right? Okay. And one of the really good ways to create service pages is to do a service Q&A. This is a really, really good way. Do FAQ style pages. How much does the insurance cost? Okay. How how long is the insurance policy? Questions. So what you are doing in your service pages, you are answering their pre-buying objections, basically. That's what you're doing. Okay. Meetup. Meetup is a really good way to build local following. Okay. I cannot stress enough, especially if events are part of your strategy to get clients and customers, and networking is part of your strategy. Meetup is a really, really good way to get customers. Okay. IGTV. IGTV is growing. IGTV is your Instagram TV. Okay. We know that now over traditional TV, people are watching online content more than a traditional TV. It's a major shift. In fact, for millennials and for younger people, 80% of their TV consumption and the video consumption comes from social media and online, not basically like, your traditional IGTV or other channels. Okay. Numbers and psychology, right? Always use numbers in your marketing. Why do you see that odd numbers, and even in numbers too, odd numbers tend to perform better than even numbers? So 7 habits of highly effective people, the 5 dysfunctions of a team, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So numbers work really, really well for your marketing, and try to utilize numbers as much as you can. Okay. Emojis. Emojis also work really, really well. Something very new. But emojis, let's say if you use it in your email headline, the click-through ratio goes up significantly, right? So emojis are a really, really good way. I know that a lot of us who have not grown up with emojis, we don't like it, but emojis are a really powerful way to express your opinion, express your thoughts, express your feelings. Okay. There are different emojis nowadays, you can find Mother's Day emojis, Father's Day emojis, and it's interesting, right? See now, I mean, using a Mother's Day promotion on an emoji, in the read rate, it went to 24% versus 2% when it was not used. So this is how powerful emojis are. Okay. So my 2 advices, guys: promote, but don't promote shit, because there is already enough shit out there. So there is enough content out there. Don't just start throwing content out there and expect people will start. If you're going to throw shit out there, if you're going to throw garbage content out there, no one will pay attention to you. So put little thought into it and just get started. Produce. But before you produce, make sure you have a strategy in place. Because if you don't have a strategy in place, guess what we are doing? We are We are winging it, right? We are just assuming that it will work. We are assuming that, like, you know what, whatever we throw on the wall, it will turn into some sort of a result for us, right? So guys, I went over 85 slides. I know it was a lot of information, but don't worry about it, right? Okay. Because all of this content, everything you will be shared with you, whatever Mitch talked about, I myself, Doc Laika, right? Okay. Anyone who basically shared content will be basically be shared with you, right? There is a lot of additional resources which we have, right? And I highly recommend that in the chat section, we have posted a link. It's community.syndicate.org. In the back end, syndicate members will get more access to different resources, and non-members will get access to some basic stuff. Okay. Um, if you're curious, if you want to learn more about it, you can go to this link at community.syndicate.org. Okay. And as I mentioned, as a member, you'll be able to access some more things. As a non-member, you can still access it, but you won't be able to access all the resources and everything in there. Okay. Any questions you have, right? I will also post my email directly in here, so you can reach out to me, right? Greg, that's true, right? Good information, right? So much to implement, right? And see, like, like me and Mitch, we always talk about this thing that when you attend these events, go back and just implement 10% of what you have learned. Even if you do that, this will change the results for you. So my one takeaway to you is, we have talked out a lot of stuff. I've given you different ideas. Mitch given you different ideas. Doc gave you a lot of his wisdom and ideas. Take 3 to 5 things and just work on those. Okay. Forget about everything else, because there is a lot of information right here. So take 2 to 3 things or 4 things which you can handle, right? And get dedicated, get it going on it, right? Let's say if you choose LinkedIn to market on, stick to it. Show up every day on LinkedIn, post every day on LinkedIn, produce a video or a content, but be consistent. If you choose Instagram, then do it every day. Don't just be gone for a month and then show up all of a sudden for 2 weeks and then say it's not working for me. It will not work for you. This is like going to the gym after a month and then saying that I don't get a six pack. You will not get a six pack. You will get 1 pack. That's what you deserve, because you're not going every single day, right? So results are like that. And marketing loves compounding. This is like, bankers love compounding and interest rate. Marketing loves compounding. The more effort, small effort you put in every day, you remember I showed you the Jeff Bezos picture at the start of the today's call. That's what it translates. Jeff Bezos has been working on Amazon every single day tirelessly for last 2.5 decades. Today, the guy is the king of e-commerce. This is what compounding does to your business. There's a really good book I highly recommend. It's called Compound Effect. This is what it talks about. It talks about that every single day. It's like, when we save, right? Every single day, a financial advisor can actually, we have Richard on the call. He can attest to it that, every single day, if we add like $10 into our savings, guess what it does over the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Marketing is like that. So don't depend on overflow model because you're busy today. Because if you're busy today and you're not marketing, you are making your business vulnerable in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years down the road. Mark my words. Because you are sitting on your ass and not doing anything. And guess what? If there's a third wave of COVID, or if there is freaking another yellow flu, pink flu, whatever that comes up, there's a highly likely chance you'll be knocked out of your chair. So keep continuously filling your pipeline. Doesn't matter what. If you are busy, you are slow, or you are you don't have any time. This is marketing and sales is one activity in your business that you never gave up as a business owner. It doesn't matter what. Okay. I'll basically have Mitch chime in, and then I think we will go towards the conclusion of today's amazing session, right? Mitch? I think you're mute.
There we go. Hello, there we go. Better? We have audio? Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, an awful lot of information, and I've seen some commentary already, and so a little bit of commentary, of course, online. We've been live on YouTube the entire time. Facebook was being grumpy early on. We were originally live on Facebook at the very beginning. Instead, we're live on YouTube. So there we go. We've got the entire thing being broadcast on there, so you can go back, watch it, find the segment you need to, and of course, you can go and find that on YouTube on Mitch Kamich Coaching, and very soon on our own syndicate channel, syndicate.org, right on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to watch the replay, collect more information, find the highlights that you wanted to see, because this is 4.5 hours of education, and that is a lot of information to pack in. We're going to summarize. We're actually going to let you go soon. But Mitch, you said it was going to be till like 3:30. Well, instead of going for breaks and stuff like that, we've decided to plow right through and give you the benefit of as much information as possible. So this is our closing suite for the day, the final thoughts. Remember, there are only 5 activities in your business to help you develop overall, period. Whether you're selling in a recession or selling in a watershed moment in a very aggressive marketplace, first of all, you have to sell directly. Your business must have a behavior on a regular basis, communicating with people, whether it is yourself or your sales team, with people one-to-one. Secondly, you must have a paid advertising component. Whether your budget is as little as $1 a day, or whether it's tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars instead, it must have a behavior where it is investing and spreading information to your potential audience. 3, it must market on a regular basis. If your business consistently puts out information, you will beat 90 to 95% of your competitors simply because they are just not consistent on educating their potential audience. Number 4, have a plan. Understand who your current market is, the market you want to go after, the price that you have right now, what your price should be, what your best customers and average customers are, and then know what the behavior needs to be. In other words, how frequently must myself or my sales team be reaching out to the marketplace? How frequently must they be communicating with people and following up? How frequently must we be going through those follow-ups? And when we have the opportunity to sell, how well are we selling against those people? What do those numbers look like? How well we can improve that? And are we following up diligently on that 5th pillar inside of sales, that customer service side? Are we asking for feedback? Are we asking for reviews and testimonials? And are we asking for referrals? It's only 5 behaviors or 5 activities that every business or every business owner needs. Little, big, it doesn't matter. That has to be consistent. If you're willing to be consistent, you're willing to measure it a little bit, and you're willing to put some thought and time into it, it becomes immensely measurable, immensely growable, but immensely manipulatable. By changing from 10 sales to 11, from changing from $1,000 to $1,100, by changing the number of people from 30 people to 33 people, we saw that we can literally double our return on our own investment at the end of a month by manipulating a small set of numbers. And we know that price is elastic in the marketplace because price is equated to value. And what is the value you return consistently into the marketplace itself? If you start Monday, 1 call regularly. If you start Monday with 1 social media post regularly. If you start Monday with $1 spent, then you are going to make an immeasurable increase in your business over the next 12 months. Over the next 30 days, you will start to affect the impact on your business and the sales and growth that you have next, simply by doing that. When you take whatever your current behaviors are and make tiny adjustments in that, it equates to much larger returns at the end. When you manipulate your price, the kind of clients you talk to, and where you're going to direct them to, and the information you provide, and of course, be foundational and very clear on What are the features, advantages, benefits? What does my company, or what does my service, or what do I offer my customers? What problems do I solve, and how do I build relationships? You're going to radically transform and grow your business, and it's going to equate to immense success instead. Do you want more? Do you need more? Anybody that's on this call already has already answered yes. If you're still not sure how to equate it for yourself, then you have the resources right here. This is the closest to a sales pitch we'll ever do on a syndicate event. Show up, join our organization, ask for resources. We have an immeasurably successful team. Ali, myself, Doc Leica, our fourth speaker for the day, unfortunately last minute couldn't join us. But everybody here is incredibly powerful at their job and at being able to help drive you towards success. Now remember, there's a price involved with that part. This is the free portion, so you have to make a business decision for yourself. But at the end of the day, what you've just had is all of the tools you need to do this yourself. Take it, make it active, pursue it, push. It's going to be uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, you will be more successful. You'll be able to create more sales, more impact for your business. You'll be able to create more revenue, more money, and more money in your pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself and Ali, the leadership team and syndicate, on behalf of the membership, which is stretching worldwide now, and for our audience that has joined us, whether live on Facebook earlier, YouTube now, and those that will see this in the coming days and weeks, do not hesitate to reach out. We can be found at syndicate.org. You can find us there, you can join us, and you can find that education for free. We give it to you for free, just like this, so that you can get better at your job and make more because of it. If you need more help than that, we have the resources, tools, and the partners for you to be able to find, be able to butt up against, and more importantly, be able to use to get what you want out of your business and out of your life. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Ali and myself, again, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for education and putting in. Thank you for the commentary, the insights and suggestions that you put in, for the questions that you have asked. And of course, continue to drive, thrive, and grow your business, because a recession is statistically the best time to measure the largest amount of growth at any point in the economic landscape. And you are facing it right now. What happens from now to tomorrow, to the end of the year, and to this time next year is in your hands. Be able to sell effectively, sell within the recession. You'll learn to sell everywhere. Sell in business winter. You will become bulletproof and your business will be unstoppable. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much. Come out, reach out. We will help you to the best of our ability. Go forward, drive your business, and of course, make it happen. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, right? Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for all the insight and encouragement.
Yeah, thank you so much, Greg. Thank you, Richard, Ben, and all the people who are basically joining us live, and also who will be watching the recordings, right? Any questions, anything comes up, as I said, community.syndicate.org. You can go there and ask any questions, right? And I think we have like 1,000+ people watching us live on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it, myself and Mitch and the syndicate community. Thank you. Have a great day. Have an amazing weekend and crush the last quarter of 2020, right?